There you go. I forgot that I muted my microphone. Thanks. What's going on, guys? I'm Jeff, the Yoshi Fanatic, and welcome to this Just Chatting stream. The last one before my summer vacation. I've been looking forward to this one. I hope you guys have been too. So welcome to Blues Cat, Brain Pick, Hartley Rants, aka Plush, Mr. Face, J to the P Moreno, and J-Dog, and Yoshi's Woolly World fan. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hello, the Yoshi Fanatic. I made it. Welcome to the stream, Yoshi Woolly World fan. How's everybody doing? There's 104 days of summer vacation and school comes along just to end it. So the annual problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Last summer? Yes, we love some good Phineas and Ferb up in here, Hartley Rants. Thank you. Welcome to the stream, Forest Fox. How are you doing? Last summer? Last summer. Yeah, this is the last stream before my summer vacation. Did I say last summer? It's 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. He's lost it, guys. Time to put him down. He can't even speak for himself, says J-Dog. You'll have that from time to time. Okay, well, how was everybody's week? I haven't seen Phineas and Ferb in so many years, says Mr. Face. Oh, same. But there's just some things that stick with you, you know? Phineas and Ferb's theme song is one of them. And of course, Parody the Platypus! A classic, an absolute classic. Discovering something that doesn't exist. Yoshi! Nice, JP. City member says, hi Yoshi fan, what would your reaction be if they remade all the Yoshi games in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? Ooh, that could be fun. I mean, I've already put enough time into Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, so I don't know, but a complete Yoshi game collection, I would not be upset by that, I'll be honest. Neil says, sup Yoshi fan, my birthday is on August 16th. I'm gonna turn 22. Happy early birthday to you. That's awesome. Please don't tell me you're gonna start singing 22 the whole year. I'll be honest, it was tempting when I turned 22 a decade ago. How would Phineas and Ferb react to a Yoshi? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know, they find a Yoshi, and they're like, oh, Ferb, I know what we're gonna do today. I don't know. Phineas and Ferb and classic are words I never thought I'd hear together. I know, right? I feel like that show was on air when I was a teenager. Jake says, whoever makes the Phineas and Ferb songs are on another level. Oh, I know it, man. Welcome to the stream, Jake. How are you doing? The weirdest Yoshi game to exist, the shooter one. That is certainly up there, man. If not the oddest one. Yeah, I would describe that as the weirdest one. I would agree with that sentiment. Forrest says, also, my man, I did not realize we were roughly the same age. Oh, really? That's awesome. No, yeah, I turned 32 in June on the first day of summer. My birthday is on the first day of summer. So yeah, 32 and counting, still going strong. I'm not sure if I've passed my prime or not, but I'd like to believe my best days are still ahead of me. We'll see. Well, anyway, guys, I think what we're gonna do this stream is start with a little just chatting stream. A little just chatting section, like maybe 20-30 minutes or so, just you know, hang out with you guys, chat along, and yeah, then we'll move into our complete Yoshi series timeline, which you know, that's kind of the forerunner. That's the topic of the thumbnail, and boy, I am so very proud of that thumbnail. So I'm sure it's the thing that most of you guys are looking forward to. And yeah, also the my final thoughts on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It's gonna be unscripted. As always, I come to these streams fairly unprepared. I've been thinking about it a lot, if that means anything, but I haven't like written down an outline or anything like that, so well, okay. I have a little bit of an outline, especially for the complete Yoshi series timeline, because it can be easy for me to forget some of the details. We are gonna get into the weeds here. We certainly are. So I've recorded my thoughts in a Google Doc, and yeah, that'll be my template from which I create the complete Yoshi series timeline, and we're gonna weave a little story in there. Make no mistake, the thumbnail shows me going like, ah! But it's gonna be a nice story. Well, It's gonna be nice, but there's gonna be heavy themes. We'll say that. You're younger than me, says Forrest. You sound so much more mature. I turned 32 in March. You know, man, it's not a race. I don't know. Hold on to your childhood while you still can, my man. You know how it is. We're trying to hold on to it as long as we can. Hartley Rant says, I love Tomodachi Life. I've never played it. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it. That's great. Time to do double Yoshi Exploshi before anyone else says it, says City of Ember. Nice. Do you like how Yoshi plays in Mario World? I do. It is his first time showing up in any video game. So, you know, of course there's going to be some things to work out. He didn't have his signature flutter jump. He did not have his signature egg throw. He did not have his signature ground pound. But, you know, he was still very beneficial to the player character, that being Mario. I do feel bad for Yoshi in that he is a glorified power-up in that game. But he's very helpful, he's very cute, and everybody likes him. There's not really much you can, you know, point to Yoshi and say, I don't like this. You know, hindsight is obviously 2020, and would we have loved having his flutter jump in there? Sure. But I think that he was perfectly fine in Super Mario World, especially the blue one. At least in my opinion. I feel like a baby here. I'm only just gonna turn 16 in September, says Yoshi's Woolly World fan. You don't need to feel bad about that. Honestly, you're in good company. There's definitely some more people around your age here. Around your age, less than your age, older than you. Like, you're in a good mix. Don't feel bad. We're just happy to have you. JP says, hey Jeff, it may be early, but I made an animated GIF for this stream. Lol, it's in the community creations. Let's check it out. I want to see it. Mr. E makes a request. Thank you for your discoveries, Yoshi, but I have another request. That's so fantastic. Mr. E, you've said enough. Back to the just chatting screen. Fantastic, I love that. You starting to get in an animation there, JP? Very cool. My birthday is 9 days after Jeff's, but I'm 7 years younger, says Mr. Face. There you go. That's very cool. We're very close in birthday timeline. That's very cool. Forrest says, I know it isn't a race. Let's just leave it at, I'm currently facing a huge roadblock in life. Well, I wish you all the best on that, friend. Nice mini animation. It's fantastic. I love that. Jake says, kids are asleep and the missus came back negative, so I'm happy. Great thumbnail. I'm glad you enjoyed the thumbnail. I don't think I should inquire further about what negative means, but I think I have an idea. So, nice, good. Yoshi's Crafted World all over again. The Yoshi shell gimmick is really cool in Super Mario World. Weird that it never came back in any form. You know, that's a good point. That was an interesting mechanic. Kind of a shame that that never went anywhere. Other than Mario World. Yeah, it didn't even show up in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, did it? Aurora says, hi Jeff, and my birthday was yesterday. Happy belated birthday, Aurora. Happy belated birthday to you. It's so funny that you, myself, and Justin all made steaks on the same day. I was very happy about that fact. We're all steak enjoyers. City of Ember says, we all know that the Wii U is the strangest ads other than the Yoshi one. What is your favorite of the Wii U ads? I don't really have a favorite because they kind of all sucked. There are some that are legendarily bad, and some people here seem to like them and enjoy them and want to watch them more than once with me, and I'm like, I don't wanna. I don't like it. The Amiibo Smash Bros. Ad. That's the one that sticks in my brain the most. And it sucked. J-Dog says, you bringing up Phineas and Ferb was crazy. My Disney Channel cartoon was Wander Over Yonder. A little after your time, but I've been rewatching it and remembering how much I loved it growing up. A little after my time. Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but that's cool. Yoshi music, so happy, 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 yay! Says Hartley Rants. Happy belated birthday. I don't know why I was getting ready to say happy birthday. Yes, I do remember the Amiibo ad, Hartley Rants, I do. And I didn't like it. Makes me sad. Makes me cringe. So hard that my cheeks hurt. Woolly World fan says, I have to ask Jeff, considering the game is in my name, do you have a favorite level and or boss fight in Yoshi's Woolly World? I won't hold you to it if you can't remember it much, as it is 11 years old. So, there's a lot of really fun levels in Yoshi's Woolly World. For some reason, I always come back to Nitty Naughty Windmill Hill, both as my favorite level and my favorite music track, or at least up there. But there's a lot of good ones, honestly. Sunset at Curtain Falls is also one of my favorites, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of really good levels in that game, and yeah, those are probably my highlights. As for favorite bosses, the bosses I'm not quite as fond of, not because they're bad, but because, I don't know, a lot of them feel derivative of Yoshi's Island, especially in terms of character design, but even in terms of just like, you know, they're all kind of formulaic a little bit. So I don't have as high of an opinion on the bosses in the game. I think Miss Cluck the Insincere is probably my favorite one, though, if I had to give one. But yeah, thank you for the question. Good question. Which Yoshi song is this again? I can tell it's Woolly World. What was the one that just played? So this one is Clawdaddy Beach. The one that played before it was Jungle. So there you go. Jeff, summarize the timeline. I missed the stream. Oh yeah. You haven't missed anything yet, Solar Flare. That's going to be what we're gonna do in about 15 or 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm excited. Welcome to the stream, dude. The art of video game ads, even bad ones, is a lost art, says Forest Fox. You're right, they definitely felt different in the back in the day. Glad you like it. Yoshi does not want to deal with any more requests from anyone. Yeah. Yeah, Yoshi's done enough for everyone else. It's time for some R&R. Phineas and Ferb was my favorite. I also loved The Proud Family, says Blues Cat. I watched a little bit of The Proud Family. Didn't catch it as much as the other ones, but I did like it. It was good. There was one episode that I really did like that, you know, the Proud Family was going to some martial arts dojo and all their friends went to like a Mick dojo. They all got their black belts in like one day. And then by the time the tournament rolled around, the Proud Family only had like their yellow or orange belts, but they were like kicking all their butts. So, yeah, there you go. I like that one. Solar Flare says, was at festival with a ton of chicks, they surrounded me. Can we, what? Like chickens? I know what you're talking about. Hartley Rant says, oh yeah, my birthday is in 5 days. Wow, happy early birthday to you as well, Plush. It's crazy. Can we watch Quest for Amiibo? No. No, you did not miss the timeline. Play Nitty Naughty! It'll play eventually. Play Nitty Naughty, please, even though I love Clawdaddy Beach. We'll just let it do its thing, man. We're gonna let it do its thing. J-Dog says, short summary is an orange furball cowboy with a blue feisty mule solve the entire galaxy's problems with positivity? Huh. That's got to be memorable. I've never heard of that, though. Pretty much every level in Woolly World is good. I agree. JP says, or rather the one that played before Clawdaddy Beach. That was Jungle. Probably like the World 4 Overworld theme. Or the Overworld level selection theme of World 4. I think. Does Kamek remember his adventure in the Yoshi's Island games? I believe he does. I think, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that he remembers Yoshi in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So, I'm fairly certain that he does remember his adventures in Yoshi's Island. My favorite boss is probably Sniffberg the Unfeeling. Ooh, he'd have to be a close second for me too. Read all my comments where I make cheese and crackers, please, Unc. What? Where you cheese and crackers? Where did you talk about cheese and crackers? Was that festival? Did I like miss it? I don't see it. I think my favorite level in Wooly World is the secret final level because it's culmination of everything beforehand while also being tough as nails. That was a good level too, honestly. Really good level. The one S level in the game that did not require you to get perfect health without taking any damage whatsoever in the level, you had a couple of chances. It was a little annoying though because there were no checkpoints in that level, but you know, there were no checkpoints in any of the S levels, so it kind of makes sense. Mr. Face says the track that played before the one playing World was the lava section in Star S. Ah. I'm kind of not listening to the music in the background. I mean, I'm listening to it, but I'm focusing on talking with you guys. Speaking of family, Modern Family is, sorry. The festival I was at was peak. Solar Flash's women, they wanted me, it was crazy. Okay, congratulations, I guess? Kim Possible has always been my favorite. Oh man, Kim Possible, that was such a good show. I don't really remember a lot of episodes in particular, but I definitely remember the show, and I remember that the theme song was peak. Very good. Woolly World fan says, my favorite level is King Bowser's castle because the music and setting is really dramatic, and then the boss fight is just a baby Bowser. Though to be fair, he partially redeems himself in second part. That's also a good pick for favorite level. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of good levels in Yoshi's Woolly World. Absolutely. Like, you could pretty much pick any of them aside from Shuttle Thread Pass, and I would understand. Kim Possible was the bomb, so good, says Jake. Yes, another Kim Possible fan. Let's go. I'll probably send you the intro post-stream. It's such an earworm, says J-Dog. Okay, feel free. Solar Flare says, can you come to my wedding whenever it is? Honestly, if you want to invite me, sure. I mean, if I can make it, I would love to be there. Kamek says, Yoshi, I remember your genocides. What? Oh man, that took a dark turn. JP says, they just now revealed the title of the Simpsons movie sequel at D23. It's called The New Simpsons Movie. I'm not kidding. They showed a teaser for it too. Man, taking a page out of Nintendo's book. Normally that's Nintendo's job. Like, they tend to take inspiration from Disney. Oh, Solar Flare says, I said while I make cheese and crackers. Read my other comments. Oh, I did read all your comments. I'm caught up. JP is one step ahead of me. That's funny. City Member says, new Super Wii Yoshi fan will be upset that he can't take Yoshi out of the levels. Oh yes, I always hated that. And then Mario Bros. U comes along, and of course you can take the baby Yoshis out of the levels, but not the adult Yoshis. What gives with that? Time for new Super Mario Bros. You know, I haven't played any new Super Mario Bros. Games in a while. I've thought about streaming some more of them. Way back, I streamed New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and then way far back, just before Super Mario Bros. Wonder came out, I streamed Super Mario Bros. Or New Super Mario Bros. DS, but I haven't done New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I haven't done New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, and I haven't done New Super Luigi U. So there you go. There's some games I'd like to stream at some point. We'll see. I do want to get back to streaming some indie games, though. First on my list when I get back from vacation is Mina the Hollower. That's been on my list since Yoshi and the Mysterious Book came out, and I really want to get to that. And that should take us through October, which I think is fitting. I mean, considering it's Castlevania's sort of style and theming, I think it would be very suiting for October stream time. Then I want to do Klonoa, which is it's not particularly indie, but like double A at most. It's definitely something I want to check out. I may even try to get the physical collection, though they didn't release one here in the US. I'd have to import or buy like an international copy, which might be a little bit of a pain, but You know, the Switch isn't region locked, so maybe that'd be kind of cool. Mr. Face says, I'm trying to think about what my favorite course in Yoshi's Woolly World is. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot to choose from. Wait, who's Comet? I think he meant Kamek. Forrest Fox says, my favorite Woolly World is Lava Scarves. Ooh, that's a good one too. The only game, the only level in the game that has like rock-inspired music. Love that. Mr. Face, don't you dare say Shuttle Thread Pass. Don't worry, that's not my favorite. It's no one's favorite. It's like, hey, look, nobody's favorite Woolly World level. Okay, Yoshi fan, we want your honest thoughts on the Mario movie, live action movie. I haven't seen it. I do need to watch it though. I think what I'm gonna do, I have in my list of video ideas, Yoshi's appearances and like media outside of video games. Definitely need to work on the title for it. But like kind of going over his appearances in cartoons, the live action Mario movie, the animated Mario movies, and the cartoons and the commercials, because there's a lot of really strange commercials. Ooh, and one of my favorites, the Teddy Biko, the phone game thing in Japan. The Super Mario World Teddy Biko is just it's something else. I really like it. It's great. And Yoshi's voice is actually pretty cute in that too. Play Will of the Wisps on stream. I'm loving Blind Forest. Ooh, I'm glad that you're trying Blind Forest. I don't know if I ever got to say that to you, but I'm glad you're giving that a shot. It starts off kind of slow, but as you get through it, it does pick up the pace, especially as you unlock the like the double jump, triple jump, wall climb, that sort of stuff. Really, really good. And then Will of the Wisps definitely kicks it up a notch, especially in terms of combat. Maybe not in terms of story. Depending on who you ask, but for me, Ori and the Blind Forest takes it in the story. J-Dog says, best life event for me was traveling to St. Pete, Florida for the first time and realizing World 4 Beach from New Super Mario Bros. Was completely accurate to IRL tropical beach settings. Very cool. This stream is going to be peak. I hope so, Solar Flare. I hope so. Otherwise, that thumbnail would be a letdown. I was so proud of that thumbnail. Down to the flower-filled bushes, palms everywhere, and a mix of grass and sand. Was that your first time going to a beach? We need more cowbell. Mr. Face says, it does have one of my favorite music tracks, though. Yeah, it is very calming and soothing for a Shuttle Thread Pass, which it really needs to be just because the actual stage is borderline rage-inducing, as much as a Yoshi's Woolly World level can be rage-inducing. Well, I should say non-S level Yoshi's Woolly World level. Check the cord. What's in the cord? What is it? Oh, Tomodachi life. Hang on. It's me in Plush's Tomodachi life profile. I cuddle with the Yoshi you gave me when I need help getting to sleep, elegant fart. What? The wild things you can make people say in that game. No, I don't cuddle with a Yoshi plush. But we do own several Yoshi plushes. So there you go. Not enough cowbell? Need more cowbell. Would Yoshi's appearances on Robot Chicken count? Maybe. Honestly, maybe. I haven't seen those. Or have I? I have seen one, like, Robot Chicken-esque sketch, but it might have been a YouTube video, not a Robot Chicken thing. Where, like when Mario goes to a real-life city, hits his head on a block thinking coins will come out, and then starts being delusional, runs over people with a car because he's looking for, like, extra lives or something. And then Yoshi rolls into town on his Yoshi cart, and, like, just the people mob him and rip him to pieces. That's the one thing I've seen. It seems like it wouldn't be too far off from Robot Chicken. Yes, a real one, not Myrtle's Bull Poopy. Not Myrtle's Bull Poopy? Myrtle Beach is great, dude. I love Myrtle Beach. Maybe I'm just nostalgic. It is one of the more dumpy beaches, I will admit. But I have a lot of fun memories from Myrtle Beach. I've seen a few clips as Mr. Face. I can't say that I have. Alright, well, once you got to Florida, you can't go back. It's been a long time since I've been to Florida, friend. Long time. Last time I was in Florida, I was like 15, so that was, well, 17 years ago. I went to Disney World with my family. I was probably a little bit old for it to be like, you know, super exciting, but I still had a lot of fun. I do remember, it was around Christmas time. And, you know, my dad, you know, we weren't a particularly well-off family, but my dad is really, really good with money, despite a lower salary. He's a forklift operator at a lumber yard. So, you know, you can imagine you don't, like, make top dollar doing that. And, like, the lumberyard has offered him some higher-up positions and some, like, you know, indoor positions, so like salesman or floor rep or stuff like that, but he doesn't want that stuff. He wants to be working outside. My dad is very much an outdoorsy and work with your hands kind of guy. If you've seen his YouTube videos on the Far Out Eddie YouTube channel, you would know that. But anyway, being in a position like that, you don't really get paid a lot of money, but my dad has always been super, super good with money. And he saved up enough money to take us all to Disney World back when I was like 15. And there was a little bit of a caveat to that. We stayed, I think, at Port Orleans. Or Port Orleans, whatever pronunciation you want. And, you know, we did go to most of the theme parks. I'm pretty sure we went, well, we may have even gone to all of them. It was around Christmas time. We were having our Christmas party there, our Christmas celebration there, our Christmas presents and stuff like that. And I do remember that despite the fact that we were there, it was Christmas time, it was, you know, Disney World, all that stuff. But I remember having Captain Crunch for breakfast because we had not a lot of food in that hotel room. We had to kind of cheap out a little bit there. But I also remember, you know, I remember eating a lot of ham sandwiches, I remember eating a lot of Captain Crunch, and I remember eating some cup of noodles. But I do remember that closer to the end of that Disney World vacation, we found this pizza place near the hotel we were at that served like Mickey Mouse, like emblem-shaped heads. Mickey Mouse head emblem-shaped pizzas. There it is. Pizzas that looked like Mickey Mouse's head. And they were actually really good value, and we had those a lot at the latter half of our Disney World trip. So there you go. That JP phone game makes me imagine a reality of if Japan made an accurate Mario anime continually to modern day instead of the Super shows. I do wonder what those would have been like. I need to go there. I'd love to visit Super Nintendo World in Orlando. Yeah, me too, man. I'm with you. Jake says, not a true Floridian until you wrestle an alligator for breakfast. You know, I've heard that alligator does not even taste that good. Like, it's like some people have compared it to chicken, but it's also very bland and kind of tough. Like, you really got to know how to cook alligator. Wrestle an alligator. I still love the me I made of you. The hair is near perfect. Well, I know it. That's very impressive. You have captured my essence perfectly. I almost said the chorus with the music track playing right now is one of my favorites just for the music alone. Fluffin' Puffin' Babysittin'. Oh, that one's good too. I'm thinking of visiting Super Nintendo World sometime too, says Blues Cat. I honestly, I haven't been there yet, but, you know, I've heard very many good things about it. Jake says, the missus and I had cereal for dinner on Christmas Eve while we were on our Florida honeymoon. We ate alligator, but I did not get a chance to wrestle one. And while eating one is the next best thing. It's funny to think about how we thankfully have the accurate Pokemon cartoon we have up to now, since they let the anime air in the States. Genuinely wonder what a Pokemon cartoon directed in the way the Mario, Zelda, Sonic cartoons were made. Yeah, I haven't really kept up on all the cartoons, I'll say that. I haven't even seen the Zelda cartoons. All I know is, well, excuse me, princess. That's pretty much all I know about that one. Alright, y'all. What do you say we get to this timeline, huh? Because we've got a lot of material to cover. And, you know, like I said a little earlier in the stream, I know that the thumbnail for the stream shows me in like a craze, like, ah! The Always Sunny in Philadelphia sort of Charlie Day conspiracy meme. I know the thumbnail shows me like in a craze, but honestly, I think we're gonna weave together a pretty good story here. JP says, been waiting for this. Time for some lore. Honestly, JP, I wouldn't be surprised if your idea for a timeline closely mirrors what I've got, but you know, maybe there will be some details that surprise you. We'll see. I will also say there will be some Mario games in this timeline, because the Yoshi series being basically a spin-off series or a side series to the Super Mario series, and the fact that Bowser has been pretty much the antagonist for every single game, except for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, where Bowser Jr. kind of takes that role, so hey-hoo. Bowser being so interwoven into the series history, of course there's going to be some Mario in here. But yeah, this is, make no mistake, this is the Yoshi series timeline. I am absolutely focused on the Yoshi games, and I'm pretty much only bringing in the Mario games when it makes sense to, largely when the Mario games have an impact on the Yoshi games. By the way, guys, what do you think? 16:9 regular small face cam for this one, or oh, whoopsie, or the large camera with the Yoshi series timeline? Which one do you guys think? No, Jeff, we want you to go crazy. I don't think we're gonna go crazy. Welcome back, Brain Pick. The time has come. That's right. I should give the Legend of Zelda cartoon a watch, but I've also heard bad things about it. Well, yeah, I mean, all of the cartoons from that time era, kind of had a certain level of cringe. That's just, yeah, that's just what it is. Whichever I prefer. Large camera, large cam. Alright, we'll stick with the large cam then. I like it. Woolly World Fan says, I've recently started playing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on Switch. Which one do you prefer though, Jeff? I prefer Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom just feels like a little too much for my speed. I don't know how far you've gotten in Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't know if I want to spoil it for you. There's a section that the trailers in the game did not cover and was a complete surprise at release, but the main focuses were on the like just the overworld, the Hyrule map, and then the sky. And I just feel like it was all a little bit too overwhelming for me. Maybe it was just a case of wrong time, wrong place for me. Breath of the Wild came out before I even met my wife, and you know, Tears of the Kingdom came out after I had had 2 kids, so I was at a very different point in my life. But Breath of the Wild also just felt like the more revolutionary one, and Tears of the Kingdom felt like an iteration of that. Not that it was a bad thing. In fact, you could argue that it's the better game overall just because it does bring improvements to the game. But I just prefer Breath of the Wild. Jeff expanding the Yoshi timeline into a Kirby level length. I just might, honestly. The Zelda cartoon is definitely a cartoon from the 80s for sure. It ain't too bad. Spoiler, there's a kingdom and it has tears. Yeah, true. I mean, that is accurate. Alright, guys. Oh, sorry, JP says, interesting how, unlike Wario and Donkey Kong, whose series are very separate from Mario, Yoshi's is most notably closely tied to General Mario. Indeed. And I don't have any Donkey Kong in this timeline. Well, okay, aside from Yoshi's Island DS, where Donkey Kong did appear, but aside from that, the Donkey Kong games, I don't think that they're closely enough tied to the Yoshi games to really, you know, count, or not to count, but not to like bring up in a Yoshi-centric timeline. Same thing with Luigi's Mansion. Well, there's a little bit of that, but definitely not the Princess Peach games. It's mostly Mario, almost no Donkey Kong, a little bit of Luigi's Mansion, and a little bit of Wario. But this is very much the complete Yoshi series timeline. I've only beaten the Water Temple so far, and the game feels far different than Breath of the Wild. It's probably because you can use the characters as allies and craft things with the devices. Oh yeah. But I think for me that just adds to the overwhelming thing. Like, it's just too much for me. Haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom yet, but midway through I've enjoyed Breath of the Wild much more, says Brainbig. I almost wonder if it's just because it's more like focused and streamlined, even though it's so expansive. Maybe. And again, it could just be the fact that I got into Tears of the Kingdom at a much different point in my life than Breath of the Wild. They should have released it like 2 or 3 years later. Missed opportunity. Okay, well, why don't we finally get into the complete Yoshi series timeline? And again, like, the thumbnail shows me going crazy, but I think we're gonna weave together a fairly nice story with some heavy themes. There are definitely some heavy themes, including dealing with loss, childhood trauma, abandonment, and eternal prisons. But overall, I think that this is going to be a pretty good story, a pretty nice story, and there are some good heartwarming parts, for sure. So with that said, all the themes associated with Yoshi. You mean to tell me we're finally going to discuss Yoshi's mother dying of Ebola? No, but there's definitely some stuff in here. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. The complete Yoshi series timeline takes us all the way back to centuries, maybe even millennia ago, with the tallest of trees, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago, a crazy daisy planted itself firmly in a spot where its roots could take place and it could grow into a very healthy vine and subsequent tree. And it was left to grow to its heart's content. And eventually it became the tallest of trees, growing into what appeared to be a moon. For the effect that it had on the world below, it may as well have been, because at the very end of its life cycle, when the moon's face, or when the Crazy Daisy's face, was well above the planet's atmosphere, it grew cold, it grew lifeless. It did eventually commandeer a group of alien, adventurers, alien, scientists, observing the creatures on the surface below from a safe distance on the moon, eventually bringing some creatures to its habitat. But then one scientist realized that this moon was not to be in orbit for much longer, and he felt for the creatures below. He felt bad for them, knowing that they would perish due to the moon crashing into the surface of the planet. So he developed the Mysterious Book to try and capture the creatures within it in a pocket dimension of sorts, where time goes much slower and they would be safe from the impending doom of the moon crashing. Well, eventually what the professor predicts comes to pass, and the moon starts crashing towards the planet's surface. The other scientist buddies of his, they got out of there as fast as they could, but that professor stayed behind. And once the moon crashed into the planet's surface, the Mysterious Book was all that remained. The professor was gone. Where? Time could only tell. But the moon's collision with the planet resulted in most of the planet's life being wiped out of existence. There are some notable exceptions. Some species that survived into current day, like the Shy Guys, the Lungefish, the Goonies, the Nepinutes. There were some survivors, but several went extinct. It all started with the Big Bang. Hey! Nice. Well, let's fast forward several centuries. It will come as no surprise that the next game in the timeline is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Much later, a Magic Koopa by the name of Kamek, or Kamek, or however you want to pronounce his name, I have no idea. He is taking care of a young baby Bowser. His liege, his someday to be king, his Lord Bowser, his young master. He is taking care of young Master Bowser as though he were his own son. And being a Magic Koopa, he has access to magical devices of sorts, including things that could tell the future, or at least predict it. And what he saw troubled him. He saw that a group of mustachioed plumbers, the Mario Brothers, spelled certain trouble for the Koopa clan. And this disturbed Kamek. So he set out a plan. He bid to prevent this future from ever occurring by kidnapping the Mario Brothers in their infancy. As the stork was on his way delivering the Mario Brothers to their parents, he snatches Luigi out of the air, and baby Mario falls to the surface below. Fortunately, he lands on Yoshi's Island, where Yoshi, on a peaceful stroll, finds him, catches him out of the air, and somehow he's miraculously safe. And a map falls from the sky. Who knows where that came from, but we the players know it came from the stork, probably on his way to deliver the Mario Brothers to their parents. But something Yoshi does notice is that baby Mario wants to go somewhere, and wants to go somewhere very badly. He has a mental link of sorts with his brother, baby Luigi. And not knowing exactly what's going on with the whole situation, Yoshi and his friends accompany baby Mario, who is at this point obviously too young to fend for himself. They accompany him to save his brother Luigi from Bowser's castle. Of course, they get to Bowser's castle. They trounce baby Bowser. Kamek obviously trying to keep Yoshi from making it there throughout the game, even banishing him to the stars at one point. Even that wasn't enough to stop Yoshi. But in the end, they save baby Luigi. They beat baby Bowser, who was enlarged to the size of a mountain. They're still reigned victorious, and send Kamek and baby Bowser packing. At the end, they end up flying towards the moon, which I posit is not the moon at all. It is Egg Island from Yoshi's New Island. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But the stork then resumes his delivery of the baby Mario Brothers to their parents. He gets to the parents' house, and well, that's the end of the story of Yoshi's Island. Or is it? Yeah, it pretty much is. Because the next entry in the timeline is more of a retelling of the original Yoshi's Island story. And by retelling, I literally mean that. Yoshi Touch and Go is not its own game story in the slightest. It is simply a dramatic retelling of the events of Yoshi's Island, focusing on baby Mario's descent to the surface of Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's subsequent ground-based adventures, fighting off enemies and eating fruits and such along the way. It is not its own story. It's essentially just a retelling of the original Yoshi's Island story. So this is where Yoshi Touch and Go goes in the timeline. It is simply just a retelling of the Yoshi's Island story. Now I know to never fight Yoshi. I wouldn't survive, says Woolly World Fan. Did not expect Touch and Go to be a part of this, lol. Oh yeah, I had to account for every Yoshi game. Every single one, including the spin-offs. Forrest Fox says, years ago I would said Mario was a dumb name. Then I learned Doraemon has Nobita Nobi as a main character's name. I don't know, that's not so bad. Alright, well. That takes us up through Yoshi's Island / Yoshi Touch and Go. Whoops. But now we must move on. Because I think you guys will be... I'm sure that you guys remember that when the stork gets to the parent's house, he finds that he's arrived at the wrong house and must continue his delivery in Yoshi's New Island. Yoshi's New Island takes place mere moments after the end credits of Yoshi's Island. The stork gets to the wrong house. The parents that were the couple that was living there was not expecting a baby, much less a pair of them. So the stork, panicking at this point, resumes his delivery, desperately looking. Come on, you had one job! He resumed his delivery, desperately looking for where the parents' house may be. At this point, it was either he misread the map, or he had the wrong map to begin with. So he's just frantically flying around, looking for wherever this house may be. His adventures take him over, his desperate, panicked delivery route takes him over Egg Island, where a defeated Kamek and Baby Bowser are recouping in their vacation castle. Kamek thought he had been defeated. Kamek thought that he had failed at stopping the events of the future that he saw with the Mario Brothers, creating trouble for the Koopa clan. He thought that his bid had failed to prevent that. But then he noticed that the stork was flying over Egg Island in a panic, and he saw that the Mario Brothers were still there. So he thought, let's try that again. So that's exactly what he did. He flew up into the skies above Egg Island, snatched Luigi just like he had before, missing Baby Mario, and Baby Mario having deja vu at this point, falls to the surface of Egg Island, where the denizens of Egg Island, another group of Yoshis, Yoshi clan if you will, finds him just like they do in Yoshi's Island, and just like in Yoshi's Island, they find it appropriate to accompany Baby Mario in his quest to once again save his baby brother, or his little brother, his twin brother, Baby Luigi. The one difference here is that the Yoshis actually have a stake in this matter too. See, Bowser and Kamek, before the events of Yoshi's Island, had set up this vacation castle, seeing it as a perfect vacation home here on Egg Island. And ever since they set foot there, trouble has befallen the Yoshi clan. They essentially fall under the rule of Kamek and Baby Bowser. Baby Bowser's a tyrant before he even gets to the age where he's competently speaking. So the Yoshis have a stake in this as well. All the more motivation for them to go and tackle Baby Bowser and Kamek at their vacation castle. Well, the events play out the same exact way as they do in Yoshi's Island. They get to the castle, they trounce Kamek a few times, they get to the castle, they beat Baby Bowser, they rescue Luigi and the stork. And then a twist happens. A very unexpected twist. And until we get further in the timeline, I won't be describing exactly what happens here. But suffice it to say, adult Bowser from some distant future shows up randomly, opposing Yoshi. He's got a particular anger on his face when he's looking at this Yoshi, saying, "This ain't over yet." Well, it was over. Almost as soon as he got there, it was over. Yoshi trounced him and sent him packing. Bowser explodes into a magical cloud of dust at the end after his defeat. Going to where? Presumably back to the future he came from. But why did he even come back in the first place? We'll get back to that. Maybe the stork got drunk like the Looney Tunes stork. Mario's dad of the stork. I think you're nuts. How do we accompany that twist? Don't worry, I've got the answer. You're gonna have to hang around and find out. Warping from space and time as one does. Mario also goes back in time disguised as a pipe to help Yoshi. That part I haven't quite figured out. But that is a thing that happens. For some reason it is. But we'll focus on Bowser later. Bowser's appearance here in Yoshi's New Island. We'll figure out why he was there in the first place. I like the idea too that New Island's Yoshis are completely unrelated and just help this baby out again. We never see this island again, so unlike OG Island, they just help this random baby and we never see them again. Very true, J-Dog, very true. Maybe Mario followed Bowser in the past to make sure he doesn't ruin the timeline. That's entirely possible. I like that explanation. But at least for Bowser, we'll get to that a little later. Funny to think these are the same babies that are somehow stacked at playing tennis. Hey, we'll even get to that. That we will. Alright, let's move on. After Yoshi's New Island, in fact, perhaps concurrent with Yoshi's New Island, I don't think any of you would predict this happening. Time travel is so normalized in Mario, it's great. It really is. Okay, I don't think any of you are going to see this one coming. But pretty much immediately after the events of Yoshi's New Island, unrelated to the events of Yoshi's New Island. Oh wait, hang on. I need to mention that at the end of Yoshi's New Island, the baby Mario brothers were safely delivered to the correct set of parents this time. They did manage to make it safely to the delivery destination. All right. Moving on to the next game in the Yoshi series timeline. It's Yoshi Panepon. Yoshi no Panepon. What? That Tetris-like game? Yoshi no Panepon? Yeah, that one. Now here's the deal with Yoshi no Panepon. So in Yoshi no Panepon, or as I'm going to call it, Tetris Attack, as it was released here in the United States, featured Yoshi post Baby Mario, post Yoshi's Island, post Yoshi's Island, post Yoshi's New Island adventures. The Yoshis are chilling out on their island, enjoying a well-earned relaxation, a well-earned victory lap. But that victory is short-lived, because for some reason, a large number of the bosses from Yoshi's Island have returned and are coming back to attack the Yoshis. Not on their own, though, because Kamek and... Wait, Adult Bowser? Kamek and Adult Bowser come back from, again, a distant future to take revenge on the Yoshis. They resurrect some of the Yoshi's most feared villains. The bosses in Yoshi's Island, including Raphael the Raven, including a couple others. Naval Piranha, I think. There are some bosses that show up from Yoshi's Island in this game that you have to battle in fierce puzzle competitions. Well, that doesn't make too much sense in the timeline. Make no mistake, this is the gameplay of Yoshi no Panepon. But the story of it is that Bowser and Kamek brought back the villains in Yoshi's Island to wage war again on the Yoshi clan to take Bowser's revenge. And the final boss in this game is adult Bowser, of all things. Well, the Yoshi clan is able to successfully fend him off, and they go back to the future after their failed attempt to take their revenge. We'll get back to where that comes from later in the timeline. Such a far better name than Tetris Attack, in my opinion. Yoshi no Panepan? Yeah, I agree. Okay. How many times until they realize time traveling isn't an effective plan? We'll get back to that. Could you read my comment? Unless you pull something with this, I feel like OG Island Yoshi had a far more emotional attachment to Baby Mario. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything with that. Yoshi's New Island is certainly not as emotional as the original. No sir, and I'm not going to change your mind on that one. But you may just end up feeling for Bowser by the end of this. Okay, what happens after Yoshi no Panepan, after they successfully ward off Bowser and Kamek's attack? Well, this is a little bit more predictable. Between 6 months and a year later, Yoshi's Island DS. Let's get that lined up properly here so that everything looks all symmetrical and whatnot. Yoshi's Island DS takes place sometime after the events of Yoshi's Island. Like I said, about 6 months to a year. The baby Mario brothers are living with their parents in the Mushroom Kingdom. Baby Princess Peach is born, or arrives in the Mushroom Kingdom, however she got there. Baby Wario and baby Donkey Kong are also present. None of them are quite mobile though, with the exception of Donkey Kong being able to climb vines. That much is true, but the rest of them are very much still in their infancy. Very much still babies. Not mobile yet, not able to fend for themselves. The big question is, where does the Super Mario World TV series tie into this? Probably around the time of Super Mario World. Welcome to the stream, Soshi. Welcome to the stream. Now, the bigger question is, what's the Yoshi quote for today? Anywho, Yoshi's Island DS. The babies are all growing up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Or in the Mushroom World, broadly speaking. Well, that dastardly Kamek shows up again, causing trouble. What does he want this time? Well, this time he's not out for just Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. No. He comes for something a little bit more dastardly. A little bit more sinister. He's here to kidnap all of the world's babies. All of them. Not just the Baby Mario brothers. Not just Princess Peach. Not any specific baby. They are hoarding all of the babies from the Mushroom World at Bowser's Castle. For some reason. We don't know why yet. Don't go away! Captain N and Super Mario Brothers will come back soon. Yeah, I'm out of quotes for now. That's a good one. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Well, the stork sees that all the world's babies are being kidnapped by Kamek, taken to Baby Bowser's castle, and he seeks to intervene. So, in a strange twist of irony, the stork attacks the toadies that Kamek is commanding to take the Mario Brothers back to the castle. Does not manage to rescue Luigi, but does manage to knock loose Baby Mario, who, once again, falls to the surface of Yoshi's Island, where Yoshi once again catches Baby Mario, miraculously. And it's even noted that he recognizes this baby. Kamek is gonna steal himself at this rate. Nice of the stork to finally fight back. Yeah, the cojones on that stork, man. Anywho, so once again, Baby Mario has that mental link go off with Baby Luigi. He knows where he is. Is it a surprise at this point? And the Yoshi clan do meet up with the stork, who presumably informs them of what's going on. That all the world's babies are being kidnapped. Yoshi has become the world's greatest babysitter, and he endeavors to accompany Baby Mario once again to rescue the babies of the world. Along the way, they rescue Baby Peach, Baby Donkey Kong, Baby Wario, and... wait, Baby Bowser? I thought he was behind all this. It's noted that he's kicked out of his castle. There seems to be something more nefarious going on. It turns out that Kamek, and yes again, Bowser from the future, have arrived at Baby Bowser's castle, even getting around Kamek of the present age. Kamek shows up with his withered light blue robes, whereas the original Kamek had more dark, more vibrant robes. So we do see that interaction. They come searching for the Star Children. What are the Star Children? Well, Bowser plainly says in Yoshi's Island DS that they are looking for the power of the stars so that they can rule the universe. What happened to just taking out the Mario Bros because they're gonna cause trouble for you? What happened to the whole Yoshi screwed up my life and now I'm gonna get my revenge situation? That's some pretty grand ambition there, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. Yeah, time travel. 3 times already. Well, the Yoshi clan does arrive at Bowser's castle. Even with Baby Bowser, who does turn on us at the end. But we rescue the Star Children, or we rescue the babies, we rescue baby Luigi, and the stork, accompanied with many other storks after Bowser's defeat, brings all the babies back to their rightful homes. It's revealed later that the Star Children were right under Bowser's nose the whole time, especially baby Luigi, but baby Mario, baby Luigi, baby Donkey Kong, baby Wario, baby Peach, and even baby Bowser, all of them have a star emblem show up over their head. But wait, there's supposed to be 7. Why are there only 6 Star Children? Well, sometime later, and we'll get back to this, but sometime later, a Yoshi hatches out of his egg, with the star emblem showing over his head, indicating that this Yoshi, this particular Yoshi, is the 7th Star Child. And again, we'll get back to that. The Stork Nation stands proud. We love you, Storky! Bowser, stop time traveling! The incident happened decades ago! It's not your fault! You need to let it go! We'll get back to his, we'll get back to that stuff a little later. If only he knew which babies were the Star Children. Yeah, that is something that I wonder about. Like, how was it they were not able to tell? And how was Bowser not able to remember that he was a Star Child? Even as a baby, Luigi was underestimated. I know it, right? Alright, well, that covers Yoshi's Island DS, which arguably introduces one of the largest, one of the biggest lore bombs for the whole Yoshi series in the Star Children. That, I feel, has not been properly explored and really should be in a future Yoshi game, or even a future Mario game. Future Mario game probably sounds more accurate. Alright. Why don't we move on from Yoshi's Island DS finally? Oh boy. More time travel, wouldn't you know it? More time travel. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time is the next game in the timeline. This is sometime much later, not much later I suppose, at least a year or 2 later, after the events of Yoshi's Island DS. The baby Mario brothers are now old enough to walk, to maneuver, to even jump, and to say certain key phrases, like "let's go" and "okie dokie." So, and bye-bye. So, the baby Mario brothers are now more like toddler Mario brothers. The Mushroom Kingdom and the surrounding lands at this point in time are being invaded by a strange alien race of alien refugees looking for a new planet to call their home. And when they call it their home, What they mean is, they're taking over, baby. One of their adventures lands them in, or one of their hostile takeover endeavors takes them to Yoshi's Island, where a Yube, which is basically a shroob version of the Yoshis, comes to the island and terrorizes them. Interestingly enough, there are fragments of what is called a cobalt star. Nobody knows where it came from, at least in this time era. But Baby Bowser and Kamek, or I should say Toddler Bowser and Kamek at this time, are looking for them because they're shiny. Time holes appear, bringing adult versions of the Mario Brothers back to Yoshi's Island, where at that time, Kamek and Baby Bowser are getting distracted by some Yoshi cookies, but ultimately still looking for the Cobalt Star. Well, they see the trouble that is befalling the Yoshis on Yoshi's Island in the Yube attack, that the Yube eats all the Yoshis, and eventually the Mario Brothers as well, but they're able to defeat the Yube from the inside and rescue the Yoshi clan once more. The Yoshis don't really understand what's going on, especially with the adult Mario Brothers being there. But they are thankful for their help, and Yoshi's Island once again becomes the most peaceful shore. It's worth noting that sometime after the events of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, where, and once again, Kamek is acting as Baby Bowser's caretaker, it's worth noting that he disappears. Mysteriously. Somewhere in Bowser's castle, sometime after the past events of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, Kamek and Baby Bowser are exploring a library. Baby Bowser's not really there because he's interested, he's just there because Kamek is. Kamek is looking for a certain book in particular, and he finds it, with a strange mustache and a magnifying glass. Why does the book have a mustache? Oh well. Kamek finds what he's looking for. He starts researching the book. Baby Bowser off in some corner somewhere, throwing a fit probably about being in a library because he doesn't want to read. Kamek gets sucked into the pages of this mysterious book. And Kamek, well, he goes missing. Baby Bowser doesn't even realize that he's missing. He just knows that he wants to get out of the library, because he has no interest in reading. So Baby Bowser leaves the library. He leaves the library. He doesn't really know what happened to Kamek. But after a little bit of time, a little bit of suspicious silence, he realizes that his caretaker is no longer there. The what book? The mysterious book. You heard me. These poor children are going to be scarred for life, says Yoshi's Woolly World fan. I genuinely used to think Baby Mario and Luigi were Mario and Luigi's children, but I was so wrong. No, yes, they are the infant versions of Mario and Luigi themselves. Okay, well, now that Bowser's caretaker is missing, just completely gone, maybe being in the library inspired Baby Bowser to use his pop-up story idea in Yoshi's Story. Well, something like that, because Yoshi's Story is the next game in the timeline. Kamek is now missing. Bowser is left without his caretaker and arguable father figure. He's confused. He's angry. He's alone. Bowser's been orphaned, says J-Dog. Indeed. Bowser is now on his own. And he doesn't have anyone else there to guide him. No one else there to care for him. So what else does he do but throw a tantrum? Lash out in anger. And he notices, peering from his window in his castle, looking out over the sea at Yoshi's Island, somehow he sees that the Yoshis are very happy. And somehow he is able to ascertain that part of their source of their happiness is this particular vine that has a heart on it. The super happy tree, as it were. Well, he wants nothing more than to just be happy at this point. So he steals the super happy tree, thinking that it will bring him joy. In some respect, somehow, some way. Or perhaps he just wants to inflict pain on others because they're happy. Whatever the case, Bowser, baby Bowser, does lash out against the Yoshis. And taking the happy tree, somehow there's a magical binding of it to Yoshi's Island. And Yoshi's Island, as well as Bowser's Castle, mind you, get trapped within a storybook. It actually turns the island, which for some reason Bowser's Castle also is included in this, presumably because it's like located near or on Yoshi's Island. At any rate, it all transforms into a storybook. The adult Yoshis, even some of the younger Yoshis, get merged within the cardboard constructs of the pop-up book. Everything goes to, well, borderline inanimate status. But the Star Child Yoshi, his egg is surrounded with the eggs of 7 other baby Yoshis. And through the power of the stars, they're able to hatch in this strange pop-up storybook world. They don't really know what's going on. They just hatch from their eggs. They realize that not all is happy here on Yoshi's Island, like they expected, like their instincts told them that it should be. It's not. It's a place that's gloomy. It's a place that seems to be of hollow construction. What's going on? Well, they don't really know. But those big noses on their face do indicate to them that there is something missing. They're able to sense that the super happy tree has been lost. A hole in the ground where it used to be. And they're able to tell which way it went by becoming more happy themselves as they explore, eating their favorite fruits, jumping on enemies that are patrolling around the pages of the pop-up book looking for a way to undo the effects, not knowing that Bowser Jr., that baby Bowser caused this to happen. Well, the Yoshis are able to become more happy and find their way to the happy tree, or the super happy tree, at the end of the book at Bowser's Castle, where they trounce baby Bowser for stealing their happy tree away from them and exiling him forever from Yoshi's Island. They return the happy tree to its rightful place, and Yoshi's Island heals, comes out of the storybook. It becomes again the happiest shore. Dude, you described a creative visual decision so graphically. Yeah, I know. Star Child Yoshi's first real adventure. Right from birth, he was ready to go. That's right. And this is the last we see of the Yoshi's adventures for now. For this period in time. Some time passes, a lot of time passes, and we'll see Star Child Yoshi again in his own, or in adventures where he meets up with the mustachioed plumber brothers. But there's a couple other games we gotta cover first. Surprisingly great way to connect Kamek's disappearance to Yoshi's story. Absolutely. I mean, Kamek's not present in Yoshi's story. Yoshi's in story are babies after all. Are babies after all. Indeed they are. Alright, well. As kind of an interlude, or an interlude, intermission between main series, main story events, we come to events that aren't really canon in the traditional sense. He also called Yoshi Mario's pet in the story. He did that, yes. I've always been puzzled as to why he does, but presumably it's because of his interactions with the Yoshi's interactions with the Mario Brothers on Yoshi's Island DS, which Baby Bowser is very familiar with at this point. So Bowser knew Mario from Partners in Time. Indeed, my friend, now you're getting it. Alright, well, the next game in the timeline, or the next 2 games in the timeline, are not actual canon events. But they do belong in the Yoshi series timeline. Yoshi's Woolly World. Yoshi's Woolly World doesn't occur in reality. It doesn't actually happen in real life events. It doesn't happen in the Mushroom World. Very notable is the fact that it takes place on an island that is not even called Yoshi's Island. It's Craft Island. The events of Yoshi's Woolly World are suspiciously similar to the events in Yoshi's Island, with the notable exception that the Baby Mario Brothers are not there. But Kamek and Baby Bowser are. The Yoshis are. Friends, I want to posit to you that Yoshi's Woolly World takes place in the playtime activities of the toddler Super Mario Brothers. They're playing with these knit dolls in these crafted locations, on the curtains, on the countertops, on the windowsills, in various places that the Mario Brothers' mother lovingly knitted for them to play with. These play sets that the Baby Mario Brothers are reliving the events in a way of the Yoshi's Island games. They don't know it, but this is a way that they're processing the trauma of what happened. Through play. Through the playtime activities of their stuffed animals and the knitted environments. Yoshi's Woolly World is not a real event. It is the playtime activities of the toddler Mario Brothers, remembering the events of Yoshi's Island. Processing trauma through play, says JP. That might sound a little silly, but I'm going with it. Meanwhile, in Baby Mario's kindergarten class, Yoshi Woolly World and Crafted World appear. Yeah, I was thinking that too. But I kind of developed it. Still sweet, says J-Dog. That's sweet. Oh, but still sweet. Yeah, it is. So this must have been how Mario was introduced to Pac-Man, to which he'd later narrate a game of his. Not kidding, Mario's the narrator of the GameCube game Pac-Man versus... I had no idea, that's insane. At least Mario and Luigi had a good childhood, they did. And that good childhood continued... there it is. Their playtime activities taking them to Yoshi's Crafted World next. In fact, Yoshi's Crafted World takes place a couple of years later after Yoshi's Woolly World. The Mario Brothers are now kindergarten age. The age where they are able to handle things like safety scissors and cardboard cutouts and tape and things of this nature to put together their own little dioramas. They now have less plushy, but still soft figurines of Yoshi and Bowser and Kamek to play with. They're crafting their own adventure in their minds and their play. The events of Yoshi's Crafted World are not quite based on Yoshi's Island, but similar enough that the Mario Brothers are still drawing inspiration from those real-life events, or the Mario World events, to inform their play. But they're still coming up with their own ideas. A domesticated Poochie, which lives on the island with Yoshi, acting almost as a pet, with Poochie puppies of his own. Maybe the Mario Brothers are familiar with puppies. But they've constructed their own levels, they've constructed their own dioramas. They're even creating their own original soundtrack with kazoos that, not kazoos, with slide whistles and children's instruments of the sort that are easily encountered in a kindergarten classroom. They are coming up with their own Yoshi story. Even to the point where they're making their own music. So Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World take place in the imagination of the young Mario Brothers. That's how they fit in the timeline. The Woolly World comparison is that Pac-Man has a Yoshi pattern. Oh, I had a feeling you were going for that. They use Moo Meadows milk cartons and Yoster Isle cookie boxes too. That's right, they certainly do. That's especially apparent in the flip sides of the stages. The kindergarten probably has the longest playtime ever, says Blue's Cat. Probably. The Transformers G1 Toys has you covered for that. Processing trauma through play, especially with the 40th anniversary of the old movie. Maybe Baby Mario and Luigi had a pet Poochie and Poochie pups of their own. That's possible. Crafted World is more of a first grade project. Maybe. Although, yeah, probably. Still, young childhood. I will say my son, who is just going into first grade, is fairly crafty with a pair of crafting scissors and tape. So, I wouldn't put it past a kindergarten age, specifically. So maybe Blockefeller doesn't exist as a real person, lol. Yeah, probably not. And that's also why the costumes in Yoshi's Crafted World look like Happy Meal toys. It's because the Baby Mario Brothers came, the Toddler Mario Brothers, the young Mario and Luigi developed them. Alright, well, let's move on to more recent times. Let's get back to the real, or at least the mushroom world. Next in the timeline is our first non-Yoshi game. Well, okay, our second non-Yoshi game. I hope McDonald's exists in the Mushroom Kingdom. The next game in the timeline is Super Mario World. Well, really it coincides with the mainline first Mario Brothers games. In fact, I'm going to illustrate that here, maybe in a kind of crude way, but this takes us to the more recent occurrences. I don't know how, I don't know why, but the Mario Brothers now find themselves in the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser is busy terrorizing the Mushroom Kingdom by kidnapping their princess, as she's the only one who's able to break his magical curse on the denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom. He's turned the Toads into blocks, into pieces of terrain, into inanimate objects, and the only one able to break the curse is Princess Peach, who he kidnaps. He's got some sort of a grudge against the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's not really certain why. This could be another one of his, grief-riddled anger outbursts in the loss of Kamek, who is still not here. Bowser has turned to the mystic arts in a way, trying to recapture some of what was lost with Kamek, though his magic isn't nearly as refined, not nearly as powerful as Kamek's. Still, the Mario Brothers go through their adventures. I thought you were using other software instead of Canvas, Chris. I was, but then I decided I wanted to give Canva a try for this as well. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so the Mario Brothers have their adventures, which eventually lead them to Super Mario World, where they go to Dinosaur Land. Bowser's having another one of his terrorizing the denizens of a foreign kingdom here. In Dinosaur Kingdom, or in Dinosaur Land rather, he sees that Princess Peach is once again present, and, well, by now it's his instinct to kidnap her. So he kidnaps her while the Mario Bros are off enjoying the foreign power-ups, the feather, the flying cape, the flying feather, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. They're off enjoying that, and all of a sudden, Peach is missing when they get back. And on their way to find Princess Peach and to rescue her, they run into Yoshi, who's on his own quest of sorts. This is the Star Child Yoshi, here on an outpost that he lovingly refers to as Yoshi's Island, but is not actually Yoshi's Island. It's much smaller, has different creatures on it. Yoshi adventures here with some of his Yoshi buddies, and Bowser, seeing the Yoshis and having some history with them, lashes out against them, traps them all in eggs. And Yoshi was trying to rescue his friends, and gets trapped in an egg himself. He then accompanies Mario on his quest to put an end to Bowser's little tirade here. And they are successful. They rescue Princess Peach, and Yoshi rescues his friends. And that's the end of Super Mario World. Making the meeting of Yoshi's more impactful, says J-Dog. So she says, oh, Jeff, here's some lore. The Yoshi in the Super Mario World game is actually named after the Yoshi's Island. This is from the manual. Interesting. Though, doesn't that kind of get retconned immediately by Yoshi's Island? Where they are called Yoshis. Kamek even calls them Yoshis. I feel like that's something that they retconned. I feel like that's a very good point. That's a very astute observation, but I'd argue that it's retconned by the game that immediately follows. They're all kind of named Yoshi anyway. So I'm gonna argue, for the sake of this timeline, that this Yoshi's Island is separate from the Yoshi's Island. The island where Yoshi and his friends live. The main Yoshi anyways. Okay. Out of order, L. Out of order? Oh, I'm sorry. Where was your last comment, J-Dog? Mario and Luigi save the kingdom. He has a pipe dream about it. Then he puts on a play about his famous adventure. So I imagine Mario World is their first real adventure since Super Mario Bros. 1. I'm gonna just say that they're all canon events. Maybe he has interesting, there's technically 2 Yoshi's Island locations. Maybe he has multiple homes. You know, I'd be curious to see them flesh something out between Yoshi's story and Super Mario World. Now that they have a newfound interest in story, after the Mario Galaxy and Mario Bros. Movies, maybe they'll flesh that out at some point. I never thought that they would flesh out any sort of thing with story in the Mario games. But then Yoshi and the Mysterious Book came along and rocked my socks. So, you know, you never know. Maybe there is another explanation. I haven't got one right now, but I do believe that this is not the Yoshi's Island. The Super Mario World cartoon is a different beast, where Yoshi's a very small child. That's very true. He's just a baby, Princess Peach says in the show. Yoshi's got a house in Yoshi's Island, Dinosaur Land, at the Mushroom Kingdom, and in Galaxy 2. Yeah, that's true. Maybe this Yoshi, after the events of Yoshi's story, goes on his own adventures and sets up multiple outposts in the last places you would think. Yoshi my name, cruising my game. Awesome. It really makes me curious how the play works canonically. Thanks, Miyamoto, for making things confusing. Maybe it's a play retelling of a real Mario Bros. 3 adventure they had. That's possible. It's kind of how I see the Paper Mario games. Obviously the paper mechanics that happen in the game, like Mario folding into a paper airplane, those don't actually happen, but the book allows for that sort of thing to happen. It's like a retelling of actual events. Yoshi lives wherever he wants, I guess, says JP. That's right. He's a traveling hero. That's what he is. Okay, let's move on from Super Mario World. The next game in the timeline. Where is it? Give me a minute. Geez. I know I have it in here. Where is it? There it is. The next game in the series timeline is Yoshi's Safari. After the events of Super Mario World, Yoshi is adopted into the group as one of the main heroes. He's a very valuable ally for the Mario Bros. And Princess Peach. JP, you're gonna be really interested to see where Topsy Turvy lands in this timeline. I'm pretty sure. And especially what happens after Yoshi Topsy Turvy, but we'll get there. Yeah, time to shoot. Yes, Yoshi has become a stalwart ally, has proven his mettle in Super Mario World. And now, Princess Peach and the Mario Bros. And Yoshi accompanying them in the Mushroom Kingdom, They hear of trouble in the far-off lands. Ally kingdoms for the Mushroom Kingdom. The Koopalings from Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, are now attacking ally kingdoms of the Mushroom Kingdom in Jewelry Land. What about the Great Super Mario World cartoon? That is not making it into our timeline here, friend. But yes, so the Koopalings, as it turns out, are actually Bowser's... I hesitate to call them foreign military powers, but that's essentially what they are. They are leading officers in Bowser's military, and he uses them for foreign operations, like the ones in Dinosaur Land, like the ones in the other 7 kingdoms in Super Mario Bros. 3. And now, here, in Yoshi Safari, they're attacking the kingdoms in Jewelry Land. Princess Peach sends Yoshi and Mario to go handle the problem. And they do. They rescue the denizens of Jewelry Land from the tirade of the Koopalings, and eventually their commander and father, Bowser. It doesn't really get much more interesting than that. Let's just say that the operations of the Koopalings do continue after this game, but the reason we don't see them very often is because, again, they're part of Bowser's foreign operations, not domestic ones. His adventures in, or his tirades and his I don't know, his endeavors in the Mushroom Kingdom are separate from the Koopalings' foreign endeavors. Bowser has grand ambitions, and in some ways they are somewhat organized, but they could be tighter. We'll get back to that. Unpaid workers. The back of the box even says they are his offsprings. Yes, they are. They are his kids. And Bowser uses them to conquer the foreign kingdoms. Who's the Koopaling's mother then? That is unclear. That's really unclear. Who knows? Nobody knows. Or are they adopted? Nobody knows. That's the fun. Alright, let's move on. What did I have next? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One of the few stated retcons being the Koopalings aren't Bowser's kids. Wait, where was that stated? Or maybe Bowsetta is canon all along. Oh. So she says the Virgin Lord Bowser versus the Chad King Dad. Alright, well, let's move on. By Miyamoto himself. Back in the New Super Mario Bros. Days, it was stated. Interesting. I didn't remember that. It doesn't really have any bearing on this timeline, but maybe that kind of adds to it. Like the fact that they're his foreign military commanders. Maybe he doesn't have as much of an attachment to them, and maybe that's part of the reason why he sends them out. There's a retcon that stated during New Super Mario Bros. U, and it was complete garbage. Well, either way, it doesn't really have much of a... It doesn't really have much impact on the events of this timeline, so we'll go ahead and brush that under the rug. I don't mind it. I can see it being his adopted kids. Yeah, I hope that there's some clarity brought to that someday, but I don't think today is that day. Back to Le Yoshi. Very young commanders, just like Bowser once, and still was. Okay, onward. Super Mario 64 DS. This is the first time that we see Wario. I'm choosing this to be the canon story of Super Mario 64, not the original. Mario, Luigi, and Wario, unknown relation, come to Princess Peach's castle with the promise of, hey, there's gonna be cake, because Princess Peach likes us. Again, I don't know why Wario's there. Maybe he's there just to get some attention. I mean, after all, Princess Peach is the monarch of the kingdom. Maybe, somehow, he'll find favor with her and, you know, turn his fortunes around. He doesn't seem like he's had a particular good life. So maybe this is his bid to, you know, turn that around. Who knows? But he's with the Mario Bros. Mario, Luigi, and Wario all enter Princess Peach's castle, hoping for some cake, and they don't come back out. Meanwhile, Yoshi is just hanging out on the roof, kind of just waiting for the next adventure to go on with Mario. And once it's clear that the Mario Bros. And Wario are not coming back out, he endeavors to go and, well, see what's up. Wario's just there for cake and money. Oh yeah, maybe the money. Okay, well, Yoshi does end up rescuing Mario, who subsequently rescues Luigi, who subsequently rescues Wario, and it's found that Bowser, yet again, is terrorizing the Mushroom Kingdom, this time bringing it a little bit closer to home. He's inhabiting Princess Peach's castle, making entire worlds for his minions to fester in the paintings in the castle, using the power of the stars. Ooh, there's the power of the stars again. Eventually, they are able to dispatch him and get him out of Princess Peach's castle. Princess Peach then thanks the group, though she does seem to give less attention to Luigi, who is used to it at this point, and Wario, who apparently doesn't take the rejection well. Even in the end credits, you can see him kind of looking side-eyed at Mario, kind of like he is here. The friendly rivalry, somehow fostered here in this game, turns into a bit more of a bitter relationship. Wario starts to get jealous of Mario. And this is where we start to see his animosity towards Mario begin. Maybe Wario signaled first one in gets the cake. Wario, hearing that Peach has a cake, also goes along with Mario and Luigi, whether they like it or not. Why are they so unkind to Luigi? I don't know, but he doesn't seem too upset about it. J-Dog says, I hate that. That means dead grass Bob on Battlefield is canon, and I hate it. I hate it. It's not canon! I scream as they pull me into the padded room, says J-Dog. They say Mario hasn't returned. Wario's the guy no one invited. He is. Yes, he is. Best character in the game is undoubtedly Yoshi, wearing the Luigi hat. Nice. Alright, let's move on. There are events that take place... Oh, actually, I'm sorry, hang on. Okay. Yes. Now I've got it straight. I had to reference my notes. Okay. Moving on from this. Peach's castle has been safely returned to, you know, a peaceful state. And to celebrate the occasion, a mysterious, not mysterious, I guess at this point, familiar face in Professor Egad. He has not shown up in this timeline up to this point, but let's just assume that sometime between now, between Super Mario 64 DS and the next game, Luigi's Mansion happens. They're familiar with Professor Egad. He shows up on the scene. What does he show up with? Why, he shows up with a time machine. This is where Mario and Luigi Partners in Time's present events take place. Honoring that the castle has once again been freed from Bowser's reign, Professor Egad, with the power of the Cobalt Star, shows up with a time machine that allows Princess Peach to go back in time to a period of prosperity and relative Bowserlessness in the past. This, of course, goes horribly awry. This goes horribly awry, and the time machine returns to the present, battered, beaten up, without its Cobalt Star power source. And a terrible creature comes out of it. Well, this spurs Mario and Luigi to figure out what happened to Princess Peach, because she wasn't in that time machine when she came back. But time holes did tear up around the place, around Princess Peach's castle, that led to different geographical locations at that same time period. This leads the Mario Bros to learn of the Shroom invasion of the past, which you would think that they would know from reading a history book. And they go back and aid their toddler selves to remove the Shroom threat. Sunshine? I'll get to that. Okay. Although, that does present a plot hole. Well, maybe not. We'll get to that a little later. Maybe time travel is just a thing everyone can own in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Bowser somehow got his hands on one again, as I can imagine he's been banned from it after the events of the Yoshi games. Again, we'll get back to that. Mario's time machine! Oh, it's just Partners in Time. So, given that Mario and Luigi Partners in Time occurs in two different places in the timeline, I think we need to try and draw an arrow kind of going back to Mario and Luigi Partners in Time earlier in the timeline. Toads are so smart, they don't bother to record their own history. Well, you know what they say, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. Anywho, there are a few key events that happen in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. One that explains the presence of the baby characters in the, one that explains the baby characters present in the sports games and Mario Kart games and such. Maybe add past and present on top of the Partners in Time. You know, that might be easier. Why don't I do that? Well, no, I like the idea of the arrows. Kind of signifying travel between the two. So that's what we're gonna do. There are a few events that happen in, there are a few events that happen within Partners in Time. One in particular is, geez, I don't know how to use this software. I'm sorry. This is Canva, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Arrows? Line start should be arrows, and then the line end should be arrows. Look at that. Look at that! That actually looks pretty good. Excuse me. Line style? Stroke style. I want dashed lines. Yeah, I like those. And yeah, that's good. Okay. There are a few key events that happen in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Whoa! That's not what I wanted to happen. Yeah, let's redo some of that. Okay. So there was one interaction between present EGAD and past EGAD at Thwomp Volcano, where the volcano is threatening to destroy the entire island. And somehow, I forget exactly what happens here. I haven't played this game in so long, but something happens between the two time period connects where they kind of share like a trans time moment together, and this inspires present EGAD to solve the problem by turning the now defunct time machine into some sort of water cannon that well, douses the fire and volcanic activity of Thwomp Volcano. EGAD's past lab is still destroyed. He then relocates to his haunted forest lab location to continue his paranormal studies. But he does happen upon something interesting. You'll get used to it the more you use Canva, says Chris. Yeah, I probably will. I'm still gonna use Photoshop for my thumbnails, but you know, this is nice for non-thumbnail endeavors like this. Anywho, something happens at the end of the game, okay, so, geez, the Cobalt Star that I mentioned earlier was the power source that powered the time machine, and that Cobalt Star was destroyed during the events of Partners in Time, notably the climactic end, the climactic finale. However, present EGAD was able to funnel and siphon the energy, the temporal energy from the time holes in the castle to fuel the time machine for one final one-way trip to send past Toadsworth, past Baby Peach, past Baby Mario, and past Baby Luigi, all back to their native time. A now defunct and essentially useless time machine now rests in the past. Well, past EGAD is fascinated by this, and while he is not able to replicate the Cobalt Star and not fully able to power the time machine, he does study it. And that does lead him to come up with an invention that, you know, will come up a little bit later. Well, okay, it'll come up next. Yeah. He comes up with something called the, what do we call it? The temporal tether. He comes up with a device called the temporal tether that does link the two time periods and allows the Baby Mario crew to freely travel to the future to participate in things like the sports games. Kind of reckless use of time travel. This could open up a number of time paradoxes. But they don't care. They just want to have a golf outing with their baby selves for some reason. Do you remember in Mario Golf when in the intro section of that game, Baby Mario shows up with Yoshi, and everyone seems a little bit surprised, but they kind of laugh it off. They've seen the Baby Mario Brothers before. So that's what happens here. Past EGAD. Past EGAD makes a device that temporarily brings the Baby Mario cast to the future to play golf with themselves, play tennis with themselves, that sort of thing. That sort of strange sort of thing that happens in the Mario sports games, in the Mario Kart games. Why did they come to the present? Just to play golf. That's Kamek's doing, all due to the events of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. That's right, Baby Mario's first spin-off appearance. Indeed, friend. Indeed. And they have a good number of bouts. Although, you know, Mario Tennis Fever might be a little bit of a weird edge case. We're still going to put it at this time. For now, I mean, I haven't played Mario Tennis Fever. I'm not super familiar. And I know that the Baby Mario Bros. Show up by a different means, in that the actual adult Marios and Mario crew are just turned into babies in that game for some weird reason. But we're still gonna put it here. No time paradox here. We recently got Baby Waluigi. I still cannot believe it, says Soshi. Oh, fascinating. That's all I'll say. But yes, this is where the sports games begin. There are more. These, well, you know what? Hang on. I can't put these here. I can't put these ones here. This one I can, though. This particular era of sports games, the Nintendo 64 era, and the GameCube era, where Kamek is not present, but the Baby Mario Brothers still are. This is how. Went ahead and switched to my phone. Alright, Mr. Face, welcome back. That's really weird if you think about it. If I'm having a sports tournament, my first thought wouldn't be, man, I'd love to play against my baby self. Who would do that? Bunch of loons the Star Gang are. Indeed they are. And I can't explain that part. That is lunacy. But you know, it's a thing that happened. All I'm doing is explaining it. I knew of baby Dr. Wario's associate. Oh my goodness. I wish we could just forget that. Okay, well, let's move on. Yes? This isn't something I'm going to dive super far into, by the way. But around this time of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, also has a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Also has a question previous to my newest one. Hang on. You think New Super Mario Bros. Wii/U will be in here? I feel it signifies that Yoshi's eventually begin to localize in the mainland Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, I'm not really going to... I'll mention them, but they're not getting, like, their own dedicated segment, I'll say that. Though maybe they should. I did figure out where to put the New Super Mario Bros. Games, but I didn't think that they were super relevant here. Good question, though. I will at least mention it. Kamek was cut from Mario Kart 64. Things could have been different here. They could have been. Mario Kart 64 could have been at a completely different part in the timeline. But okay. Let's finally... Oh, sorry. I need to continue my thought. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. This is the era right here. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, where the rest of the Mario RPG games happen. At least the good number of them. Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story. These are all pretty reasonably linear in their story progression. Like you can definitely see that one comes right after the other. Dream Team even. I won't get too far into that one though, because I don't remember it super well. However, I will say this. Bowser's Inside Story is the first time that Bowser realizes his romantic affections for Princess Peach, spurred by a token of, well, I don't know, appreciation from the princess at the end of Bowser's Inside Story. At the end of Bowser's Inside Story, Princess Peach sends him a recovering Bowser after he is beaten by Mario and Luigi to a pulp. She sends him a cake and basically a thank you card, saying thank you for saving the kingdom with us. I mean, he didn't know he was saving the kingdom, he just wanted his castle back. But Princess Peach still appreciated it, and that kind gesture sparked a romantic interest from Bowser in Princess Peach. And we see him over the course of Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, where he first admits, at least, when he first admits accidentally to Mario that he does have a romantic attraction to Peach. He first admits it there. In Super Paper Mario, he is absolutely thrilled to be in a admittedly forced wedding with Princess Peach to unleash the power of the what is it, the Dark Heart or the Void Heart. I mean, he's still happy, like he's getting married to Peach. He doesn't care what the circumstances are. And again, I'm not gonna list this game here in the timeline because it really isn't that pertinent to the Yoshi timeline. But Mario Odyssey takes place after it takes place after the RPG games, because now Bowser's gotten kind of a taste of what it's like to be married to Princess Peach. He even refers to Peach as his wife later in the Super Paper Mario game. So yeah, Super Mario Odyssey takes place after that. Then Super Mario Sunshine takes place after... Well, I'm sorry, I should put a little more context in there. Bowser hires the Broodals while the Koopalings are out in one of their foreign military conquests. He hires the Broodals, a set of third-party contractors that are there to set up a wedding between him and Peach. To, like, even though he was technically married to her in Super Paper Mario, it was undone at the end of that, and he seeks to reestablish that marriage forcefully. So that's where Mario Odyssey takes place. And then after that, Super Mario Sunshine. Which again, I stress I'm not listing here in the timeline. Super Mario Sunshine comes after Super Mario Odyssey, where he, you know, he's still holding on to those romantic feelings of being married to Princess Peach. And he's using that as a lie to recruit his newest son, Bowser Jr., and to frame Mario and to get him out of the picture so he can once again get Princess Peach, take her to the volcano where he's staying at, and so that they can be a happy family together. Forcefully, again, Princess Peach isn't stoked about the idea. So anyway, that's where Super Mario Sunshine takes place. That's where we first see Bowser Jr. And then after that, again, I'm not listing this in the Yoshi timeline because it really doesn't have much to do with the Yoshi games. But after that, Bowser Jr., he knows that that Princess Peach isn't his mama. But he still assists Bowser in his plots to kidnap the princess from time to time. Starting in New Super Mario Bros. DS. Jeff, am I allowed to nitpick? Sure. Sunshine, that means I scared of water. Bro had to fake a wedding and he could never let that feeling go. The shroom aliens brought upon his awakening of the princess. Dude's an actual incel. The shrooms made Bowser an incel. Oh, Solar Flare, thank you for coming back and thank you for tuning in. See you next time, friend. Paper Mario Storybooks, Arthur by Mario. Okay. Sorry. I should... Yeah, I think I'm caught up on comments for the most part. Okay. Well, that brings us to... So the Mario and Luigi games had remakes where Bowser Jr. is a character. And while Partners in Time isn't a remade game, it does take place between the two remakes. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Bowser Jr. is present in the remake of Superstar Saga. I forget if he is in Bowser... I forget if he is in Bowser's Inside Story. Remind me, was Bowser Jr. in that game? Is there a reason why Mario Sunshine still couldn't come after? Because if I remember, Bowser Jr. doesn't really interact with the Mario Bros. At that time, right? Kamek is also in Bowser's Inside Story remake. Wasn't clear if it was him before, but the remake confirms he was there. Interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, that means Bowser's Inside Story can't take place right after Mario and Luigi Partners in Time then, right? Maybe the Mario and Luigi Partners in Time game takes place somewhere else in the timeline then. Interesting. Interesting. It still doesn't really affect my flow of the Yoshi games, but yeah, this is definitely more in question, this placement. Bowser Jr. meets Peach and Mario for the first time in Sunshine. Does he interact with them in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga remake and Bowser's Inside Story remake, though? I didn't play the Bowser Jr. sections of the Superstar Saga remake, though I probably should. I don't get why in Super Mario World Yoshi's scared of entering a castle/fortress, yet in Super Mario World 2 he was just fine. Yeah, that's also unexplained. Yeah, I don't know. Not really sure. Gameplay-wise, it's because they couldn't make his sprites work in the castle. The other thing I wanted to say is the water device you mentioned EGAD making is called the Super Pump in Japanese, which is a reference to Flood's Japanese name, which is just pump. Lol. Interesting. Could that be his inspiration for making Flood later, or was it inspired from Flood earlier? Junior for sure knows the bros in the Bowser's Inside Story remake. Interesting. Okay, so we have to question this placement then. Maybe we'll come back to that. Let's continue though. Super Mario World 2 is Old Yoshi. Super Mario World is Star Child Yoshi. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Maybe Bowser's Inside Story takes place a few years later. Maybe. But let's continue with the Yoshi timeline for now. So, sometime after Yoshi's Safari, Super Mario 64 DS. Probably not Mario and Luigi Partners in Time at this point. We'll have to shift this around a bit. But sometime after Yoshi has become ensconced in the Mario Bros. Group, he goes back to Yoshi's Island and hangs out with his friends. Takes a well-deserved rest. I mean, he does technically still live on Yoshi's Island. I mean, the game even, the commercials, trailers, even said as much. The island where Yoshi and his friends live. He doesn't have permanent residency in the Mushroom Kingdom. So he does go back to his home eventually. I'm gonna go to bed. Night, everyone, says Mr. Face. Good night, Mr. Face. Thank you for tuning in. He does go back to Yoshi's Island, which is where Yoshi and the Mysterious Book happens. This is sometime between Bowser excursions. This is sometime during a time of relative peace in the kingdom between Bowser tirades. Yoshi goes back to his island, and all of a sudden a mysterious book and also an empty clown car show up on the island. They crash into the island. And the mysterious book states that he doesn't know what is within his pages. Didn't expect to see this game so soon. He doesn't really know what's in the pages. He's lost all recollection of what's within his pages. The Yoshis are eager to hop in and help him out, as Yoshis are generally happy to help out in whatever endeavors someone needs help with. Yoshi is a very helpful sort. The story does kind of get complicated, though, in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. He bumps into Kamek. Though I don't remember if he actually recognizes Kamek or not. But he does recognize Bowser Jr., and Bowser Jr. does recognize Kamek. Does recognize Yoshi, but he does not recognize Kamek. Bowser Jr. does not recognize Kamek. Kamek refers to Bowser Jr. as his young master. And Bowser Jr. retorts with, "This dude's creepy. What's his deal?" And Kamek is like, Lord Bowser, it's me, or young master, it's me, your humble servant." And Bowser Jr. is like, whatever. So he hangs out with Kamek and accompanies him throughout the story. Yoshi, on his, bid to help out the mysterious book, coincidentally bumps into Bowser Jr. and Kamek, who are just trying to find their way home. They get into a few tussles. The Bowser Jr. and Kamek do get into a couple of situations where they need help, and Yoshi rescues them in sort of boss encounters. And ultimately, at the end, Bowser Jr., who had gotten trapped in the book due to looking for this Bewilder Bird. I should go back for a second. Bowser Jr. goes into this library where Kamek had gotten trapped sometime or a long time ago. He finds the same mysterious book. He sees the Bewilder Bird, and he's like, that looks like Yoshi's Island. So he starts going to Yoshi's Island, peers through the magnifying glass to get a closer look of where this Bewilder Bird might be, and gets sucked into its pages. And, like I said, he meets up with Kamek, who he doesn't know. And they progress through the book, trying to find the Bewilder Bird and a way home. Kamek's more interested in finding a way home. Bowser Jr. is still interested in finding the Bewilder Bird. I see sunshine happening right before Mysterious Book. After losing his EGAD brush, he gets a new one with his own logo on it. We see his new brush in the opening of Mysterious Book. Ooh, very good point. Yeah, I for sure think Mario Sunshine happens before Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. I agree. Okay, so, yeah. Eventually, they get to the end of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Yoshi has assisted Mr. E in learning more about the creatures within his pages, which, again, it's revealed later that they were rescued from the moon crashing into the planet. the Crazy Daisy. And, yeah. Yoshi is able to get Kamek and Bowser Jr. out of the mysterious book. They go back to Bowser's castle, where Kamek sees for the first time Lord Bowser, a grown-up Bowser. Bowser seems pleased to see Kamek again, and Kamek wonders how long he's been gone. It's stated at some point in the game that time flows much slower within the pages of the mysterious book, so perhaps the 20 or so years that have passed since Kamek disappeared felt more like days, maybe weeks, of him being gone. But Bowser and Kamek were reunited after Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So there is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book's placement in the timeline. Okay, let's continue. Where do we go from here? This, I feel, leads to, so Kamek is now reunited with Bowser. Bowser is happy to have Kamek back. Welcome back to the present, Kamek. Bowser is happy to have Kamek back. But it's noted that, or it is noteworthy that Kamek, being his advisor now, being more of an advisor role rather than a caretaker, is able to refine Bowser's military efforts. They start small. They start by refocusing their efforts on the Mushroom Kingdom. This is where the new Super Mario Bros. Games occur. We, you, two, the reappearance of the Koopalings. Maybe that could be explained. Excuse me. By Kamek saying, hey, we've got all these forces dispersed everywhere. Why don't we bring them back and have a focused attack on the Mushroom Kingdom? This is why the Koopalings appear in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Coincidentally, Kamek also does appear in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Or at least U. I think he appears in Wii. But he doesn't appear in DS. Considering Kamek appears in the Bowser Jr.'s Journey part of Superstar Saga, it should take place after Mysterious Book. Yeah, it's starting to come to light that I don't really understand that part of the story. So, yeah, absolutely good points. So why don't we... He's in both Wii and U. Okay, thank you for confirming, JP. Why don't we go ahead and move Partners in Time to be after Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? Does that make sense? I think it does. So let's move that stuff. Hang on. Do 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 do. Oh. Yeah, let's move all this stuff back a little ways. Oh, jeepers, this is going to be harder than I thought. Sure, this is fine. It doesn't all have to be perfect. Okay, so... Wait. Kamek isn't present in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, though. I think that's what's throwing me off. Maybe add Sunshine to fill in the gaps? Why don't we do that? That does seem a little bit important for Bowser Jr. showing up, so... Where was that website? Hang on. 1 second. Give me a minute. It was the website that I used during the Ultimate Fave Game meme. SteamGridDB.com. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Super Mario Sunshine. Let's go ahead and save this. Put it under Game Box. Super Mario Sunshine. You know, I'm glad that you guys are helping me refine this. This is great. Where is it? There it is. Mario. Oh, you got Mario confused. Yeah, I know, right? Hello, I'm back from doing some pizza deliveries. Hey, welcome back, BrainPick. We're still talking about the Yoshi timeline. Now, shouldn't Partners in Time be put back to where it was? You can just count that game specifically. Well, no, because... Well, can we? Does Partners in Time have to happen after Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga? I guess that... Yes. Yes, it does, because Fawful is in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. He's living under the castle in under Princess Peach's castle. He's the one where you buy the beans. So Superstar Saga has to happen before Partners in Time. But with Bowser Jr. being in the remake of Superstar Saga, it has to come, and Kamek's there, it has to come sometime after Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So did Bowser Jr. paint the Yoshi eggs in sunshine? I think that is a theory, actually. I think that is a theory, because, I mean, the Yoshis do vanish in the water. So where do we put Sunshine? Sunshine happens before Mysterious Book, because we're introduced to Bowser Jr. there. So let's move these back. And let's move Sunshine over here. Sure, that works. Fawful is linked to the first 3 games, yes. Yes, he does have to, like, Partners in Time does have to come after Superstar Saga. So, why don't we... Trying to figure out where the RPGs line up now is kind of confusing. Bowser Jr. shows up for the first time in Super Mario Sunshine. I guess Mario Golf happens after Partners in Time here. Yeah, I mean, yes, it does have to. Yes, you're right. Another good catch. So, Mario Sunshine does have to take place after Mario 64, because Mario 64 is referenced in Mario Sunshine. That could just be fun game stuff, you know? Yeah, again, thank you for helping me refine the timeline, guys. That definitely helps. I think the core of the Yoshi series is still not very much in question at this point. But Bowser Jr.'s involvement certainly is. Maybe you are becoming like the thumbnail. Yeah, at this point. Yeah, so, okay, Partners in Time is still very much up in the air. But just because of its placement, or just because of its relation to Mario Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and Bowser's Inside Story, I don't think the other Mario RPGs really matter too much. Yeah, I mean, certainly not as much as Partners in Time. Not to mention Yoshi's Island DS is going to reappear soon. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, why don't we move on for now? The Koopalings, Bowser Jr., I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much, but I do feel better about having Partners in Time here. So yeah, thank you for helping me refine that. But let's move on. Okay. So, where are we now? Okay. So the newer Mario series, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, aside from DS, takes place sometime in this time frame. Kamek is there. The Koopalings are there. Bowser is refocusing his efforts on the Mushroom Kingdom once again. But after a while, he got just as tired as of the Mushroom Kingdom as we were getting of New Super Mario Bros. So, Kamek comes up with a different idea. Why don't we focus on... Why don't we focus on some off-world operations? And thus, Kamek advises to Bowser, for some reason, that it would be a good idea to pursue an off-world dynasty, where Bowser wants Princess Peach to rule as by his side in the center of the universe, to rule the universe. Bowser becomes much more interested in these grand scale operations in Mario Galaxy. Of course, Mario does thwart him. And does Mario Galaxy 2, do I have Mario Galaxy 2 in here? I should. Give me a minute, I gotta find Mario Galaxy 2. Mario Galaxy 2 box art. Just a second, I gotta get this downloaded because I feel like it's incomplete without the game that features Yoshi. So let's get that in here. How Yoshi appears in space, I don't really know. He does seem to get around a lot, doesn't he? Because for some reason he does have a house in outer space. The Yoshi timeline, so many mainline Mario games. I know, right? Is Mario Galaxy 2 canon, or is it just a story told by Rosalina? No, that's a good question too, isn't it? I don't know. I truly don't know. It could be just a story told by Rosalina, but I'm still gonna put it in here. Oh wait, I already have the box art downloaded. I didn't need to re-download it. It's for sure canon. It says JP. Well, I am going to include it here in this timeline. Consider this the era where Bowser turns his attention to the stars and decides he wants to rule the universe. Now with his powerful military advisor slash magical companion back at his side. Although Kamek does seem to have relatively minor roles in the game, he does appear there. He is the one who blasts Mario onto the Gateway Galaxy Gateway Galaxy? He does blast Mario there where he first meets Rosalina. So, he does at least have some sort of presence in the game. Galaxy stuff shows up in other games, like in 3D World. Ooh, sure, yeah, like the Shadow Marios and the Star Comets, or the Comet coins and medallions, whatever. Long book, Super Mario Galaxy. Short book, Mario Galaxy if Fox McCloud landed in front of Mario. Okay, well, this is where, this is where Mario Galaxy happens. Well, Bowser got thwarted, not once, but twice. Using two different methods of kidnapping Princess Peach and taking her to the center of the universe with him to rule the universe. That failed. So Bowser tries a new tact. He's like, well, it didn't work when I took Princess Peach's castle all the way to the center of the universe with me. It didn't matter when I used the power of the Grand Stars to grow to gargantuan proportions and just take her there myself. So he's like, well, let's try something truly strange, something truly out of the ordinary, something that nobody would ever expect. And having his magical companion, his sorcerer companion with him, he decides to turn his attention to another way to rule the universe. He decides to have Kamek experiment with time travel magic. Hang on. Time travel magic. He gets Kamek to cast a time travel spell where they go back to the events of Yoshi's Island DS. This is why they're in the past in the first place. Their efforts to conquer the universe failed in the traditional ways. So they try to go back in time to capture the Star Children. Island DS again, baby. That's right. Hang on. So, I don't know how to use this program. Okay. Hang on. I'm working on it. So that's why Bowser and Kamek go to the past in the first place. To kidnap the Star Children, to use their power to rule the universe. I don't know how they were going to do that. I don't know what that actually meant. But Bowser does say in the game that he wants to rule the universe. it makes the most sense to me to place this after the Mario Galaxy games because his Universal Reign plots failed here. So he's trying something new. Well, the Yoshis defeat him. The Yoshis defeat him, and Bowser's like, well, that sucks. Pretty much that, just like, well, that sucks. And he starts getting more of a vendetta, not only against Mario, but also Yoshi for thwarting him back in the past. And then he remembers that, wait, so the Yoshis beat me up in the past. Why don't I get a little bit of revenge here? Why don't I go back in time again to mess them up and make this not happen in the first place? They're the source of my troubles. They're the source of my problems. They're the reason I keep failing. Kamek is unsure of this strategy, unsure of this logic, and quite frankly, he's getting concerned about Bowser's obsession with revenge. But that doesn't stop Bowser from forcing him to use his time travel magic once again to claim revenge, or to get revenge on the Yoshis in the events of Yoshi no Panapon. So this is the origin of why Bowser went back in time in the first place, to have some beef with the Yoshi clan. They're the source of all his troubles. Maybe if he goes back to the past and wipes them out for good, maybe things will turn out a little bit better for him. Maybe things will be different. And again, this fails. The Yoshi clan is able to ward him off. We gotta be close to Topsy-Turvy. Well, oh, we are. We're very close to Topsy-Turvy. We're actually almost at the end here. Very, very close to the end. Finally. So, okay. That would mean New Island would show up again, lol. That's right, it does show up again, and we'll get to it. Oh no, I can sense more time travel. There is one more instance of time travel. And the reason for it may shock you. But at this point, Bowser is extremely frustrated with his revenge plots. He's starting to get, I don't even want to call it irrationally angry, but in a way, he's angrily irrational. He's starting to lose track of all strategy. He's starting to lose any hope that any of his plans will actually work. On top of that, Kamek, after 2 sequential time travel stunts, is mentally, magically, physically drained. Kamek retires at this point. Kamek is no longer an active force in Bowser's military. As such, Bowser gets a lot less strategic. Warping through space and time, insert that one soldier meme. Bowser starts getting a lot less strategic. He starts kind of just lashing out again, just like he did in Yoshi's story. Just like he did when Kamek first abandoned him. Not of his own accord, mind you, but Bowser, it may as well have been that way. So Bowser starts throwing more tantrums, let's just say. His outbursts, his military activity gets to be reckless and just unpredictable around the Mushroom Kingdom. Kamek, do whatever you want, man. He's attacking everywhere. He even attacks a group of peaceful denizens of some land within the Mushroom Kingdom. The Egglings. His irrational military outbursts takes him to the land of the Egglings, where he says, Eggland is mine. Of course, they flee. They're a lot more mobile than he anticipated. They flee all the way to Yoshi's Island. Somehow, that peaceful island seems like the perfect refuge. Bowser tracks them down there. And this is where Yoshi Topsy-Turvy happens. Again, Bowser's a lot less strategic now. He's just lashing out against anything and everyone. And he tunnel visions on the egglings for some reason. Mario, Peach, Luigi, the whole group. They're all busy with Bowser's other dealings. The fires to be put out around the Mushroom Kingdom. They're too busy to help the egglings. They flee to Yoshi's Island. Bowser tracks them down there. And Hongo is a character, by the way, who hasn't shown up to this point, but he's starting to get real tired of all the trouble that Bowser is doing. Hongo is the spirit of the Forbidden Pop-Up Book. And for some reason, he's got some sort of godlike status here in the Mushroom World. And Bowser finally gets to Yoshi's Island. Hongo decides, I've had enough, and locks Bowser away within the pages of the Forbidden Pop-Up Book, intending for it to be his eternal prison. But Bowser's on Yoshi's Island, and Yoshi's Island turns into also falls into the Pop-Up Book, the Forbidden Pop-Up Book. Yoshi's not amused by this. Oh no, my home is a pop-up book again. Yoshi's not amused by this. He's kind of like, oh no, we've been here, done that. I don't want my island to be a book again. And he's not real friendly with some of the people, some of the spirits in the book that he encounters. Especially the spirit that he first encounters. I forget what his name is. The guy that looks like a clown. But Yoshi was not amused. That said, what was that spirit's name? Can someone remind me? Yoshi's so fed up in this game. Yeah, again, this is the second time his island got turned into a book, so yeah, of course he is. The spirit of... I don't know, hang on. The spirit who loves surprises. Okay, thank you. You actually got that before I did. Okay, the spirit, he bumps into the spirit who loves surprises, who strikes a deal with him. Hey, if you can lock Bowser away further into the book, maybe we can restore your precious Yoshi's Island. Maybe we can appeal to Hongo. Lock Bowser further away so that Hongo can release Yoshi's Island. Well, Yoshi works together with the spirits in the book, helping them with the tasks that they set out before him to prove that he's a hero, to finally face Bowser at the end of the book. The climactic final battle between Yoshi and Bowser happens here. I'm noticing that a lot of the plots are very similar. I mean, they are Mario and Yoshi games, to be fair. But here, Yoshi defeats Bowser, locks him away further within the pages of the Forbidden Pop-Up Book, just like the spirit who loves surprises recommended that he do, and he was able to appeal to the spirit Hongo to get his island restored and keep Bowser locked away for good. If Bowser didn't go to Yoshi's Island, maybe the Mushroom Kingdom could have turned into a pop-up book instead. Yeah, honestly, yes. So, at the end of Yoshi Topsy-Turvy, Yoshi's Island is restored. It's once again the happiest shore. Once again. But Bowser's still locked away within the Forbidden Pop-Up Book. So now what? Well, Bowser's army, it doesn't really disband, but it certainly stops its tirade against the Mushroom Kingdom, at least for a time. After all, what are they gonna do without their King Bowser? Maybe go under the rule of Bowser Jr.? That could work. But it doesn't materialize for some time. There's a time of peace in the Mushroom Kingdom, finally. At least for a time. But our story doesn't end here. Not quite. We still have at least one more thing to explain. I think you might see where I'm going with this at this point. But this is where the suddenly warping through space and time King Bowser comes in. Bowser is rotting away in his eternal prison within the pages of the forbidden pop-up book. He's stewing in anger. He's been defeated. He's hopelessly locked away within an eternal prison. What is he to do now? What can he do now? Well, he uses some of the unrefined magic arts that he learned from Kamek to force project himself back to a past era to once again try to rectify the source, or to rectify his problems by confronting them at their source. He intends to go all the way back to once again, erase the Yoshis from the timeline so that he's not defeated, and that he will once again reign supreme in the Mushroom Kingdom without the Yoshis there to stop him in the past. So he tries to project himself back to the past, back to where it all began. For some reason, this lands him on Egg Island instead of Yoshi's Island. I told you his magic was unrefined, unstable. He shows up here suddenly out of nowhere. No Kamek, no time machines, nobody to help him, just Bowser. Just King Bowser. Shows up here to try and erase the Yoshis at their source. And thus, his problems. And hopefully, as a last-ditch effort, try to break himself out of the forbidden pop-up book. This fails, of course. The Yoshis are able to defeat him in the past in the events of Yoshi's New Island. And when he's defeated, his unstable, unrefined magic spell that takes him back to the past instantly snaps him back to his eternal prison in the forbidden pop-up book. Bowser, at this point, after Topsy Turvy, is still trapped within the pages of the forbidden pop-up book. Yoshi can't catch a break. He could be relaxing and then Bowser pops up again. Yes. Up to this point, though, Bowser has not attempted again to break out of his eternal prison. His magic may just well be exhausted, and he may just well be hopeless. Perhaps, at some point in the future, he can be freed. But for now, he remains in the forbidden pop-up book. I love how you recontextualize adult Bowser's attack on Yoshi's Island. Yeah, I mean, it's not super clean, but honestly, it's kind of fitting. A desperate Bowser, trapped in an eternal prison, tries anything that he can to free himself. It's not refined. It's not intricate. It's not really sophisticated. It's just another desperate attempt to get out of his prison. Kamek, now you see what it's like to be trapped in a book. Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, this is where Yoshi's series ends. But I do want to make another quick note. Bowser, my problem was never Mario, it was Yoshi! Exactly. Exactly. The source of his problems, all the way back in Yoshi's Island. That was the source of his problems. Alright. Well, now that Bowser is no more, he's been imprisoned forevermore, or at least for the foreseeable future. The Koopa clan, well, Kamek's prophecy came to pass. The Mario Bros, extensively through Yoshi, or by extension through Yoshi, did spell trouble for the Koopa clan. And now they have to rebuild. Potentially around Bowser Jr., potentially around the Koopalings. Perhaps they wait for Bowser Jr. to, you know, grow up. Become more of a competent military force. Become someone they can really, really rally behind. But in the meantime, there's a power vacuum in the Mushroom world. Bowser, the main military force, keeping everything kind of, well, on edge, I guess. There's a power vacuum now. So what happens? Give me a second, I can't find the art that I'm looking for. Hang on. There it is. This spawns a power struggle. Bowser's not there to keep things keep things in check anymore. Keep everyone tamped down under his large Koopa size, or his large dragon-sized foot. He's not able to terrorize anyone anymore. He's imprisoned. So now other powers, other military forces, see their opportunity to take over what Bowser had control over before. Oh shoot, I forgot about Yoshi's Cookie and Yoshi and the Yoshi puzzle games. Hang on, I'll come back to that in a minute. But the power vacuum that opened up resulted in military forces like Tatanga coming to take over what Bowser had previously had control over. Tatanga shows up in Sarasa Land to terrorize Princess Daisy and her kingdom. Mario goes to save her. Mario goes to assist her and free the land of Sarasa Land from Tatanga's rule. Oh, here we go. But there's another loose end here that we need to tie up. This is becoming a Yoshi and Mario timeline. There is one more loose end we need to tie up here. JP's right. Mario Land 2 is next. This is where we see Wario come in. Again. Wario had showed up in Super Mario 64 DS. Maybe as a friendly rival. Maybe as someone also trying to seek attention. But things didn't go his way. And even throughout the sports games, even throughout the parties, even throughout Mario Kart, every time that Wario and Mario are in the same place, Mario gets the spotlight, and Wario is the outcast. His bitter rivalry continues to build up into resentment, hatred, jealousy. And when Wario sees that Mario is away, off in the kingdom of Sarasa Land, he sees his opportunity to take everything that Mario has. Yet another outbreak of Bowser's defeat at the hands of Yoshi and Topsy-Turvy. This wouldn't have happened without Yoshi. So I guess you have Yoshi to thank for the Wario Land games. Alright, well, I did miss the Yoshi's Cookie and Yoshi's, and the Yoshi game. So why don't we go back and add that in? Fortunately, that's pretty easy to add in. Give me a second. So, Yoshi and Yoshi's Cookie, they don't really need to take place in any specific place in the timeline. They don't really need to happen. They don't really need to happen at any specific point. Bowser's forces are still there. You know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, how about this? I had another place for this. It wasn't really a specific place in the timeline, but now that I think of it, how about this? Oops, hang on. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I guess at most you can say they take place after Mario World. I have another idea. After the Koopa clan is disbanded, or at least in full retreat from Bowser's full-on invasion and war efforts, Mario and Yoshi work together to clean up the Koopa clan crew and all the enemies therein, who are kind of, you know, they're leaderless at this point. They're scattered. They're unorganized. But they're still roaming in the Mushroom Kingdom. So Yoshi, the puzzle game, may just represent Mario and Yoshi's joined cleanup efforts of the remaining Bowser baddies, leading to a time of peace within the Mushroom Kingdom. Again, maybe temporary peace, especially with the looming power vacuum. But still, it gives Mario and Yoshi the chance to kick back, just be buddies, and bake some cookies. How about that? I was originally just gonna have the Yoshi and Yoshi's Cookie take place during the time of the Mario sports games, taking place in like lulls between battles. But I kind of like this idea better. How about that? Yeah. So there you go. There's our complete Yoshi series timeline. So, I don't really feel the need to recap this, but let's just scroll across here slowly, and we can at least, like, revisit our steps just because there's a lot that happened here. So Bowser's just gone? Yeah, for the time being. For the time being, there's not really, well, I mean, he's just stuck in limbo, essentially. He's just stuck in prison. And maybe he'll come back. Maybe Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings will figure out a way to break Bowser out of his eternal prison. But for now, there are other military powers in the waiting. Waiting to claim what the Koopa King had clamped down for so long. Now's their chance to shine. But we'll just have to see what... I mean, it is notable that during the Wario Land games, Bowser is notably absent. What an amazing timeline, though. It all adds up. Well done. Thanks, Foley World fan. Maybe that's why there's been no new 3D Mario for so long. Well, there you go. That is my Yoshi Fanatic complete Yoshi series timeline. I do want to note that this is absolutely still open to scrutiny. This is by no means a definitive timeline. This is just what I propose for the timeline of the Yoshi games. And I'm especially questioning the placements of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time and the subsequent RPG games. For the sake of the Yoshi series timeline, that doesn't really matter all that much. But seeing as Mario and Luigi Partners in Time did have events happen on Yoshi's Island, I did think it fitting to have some sort of representation here. Maybe I should have added in Paper Mario 64, but frankly, I'm not familiar enough with that game to really have any authority on the subject, and maybe that'll change things. But for now, this is the complete Yoshi series timeline. Bowser, after he's been freed from the pop-up book, seeing an adult junior. Son, how long have I been gone? You can plop the other Mario and Luigi games on top like you did the Mario Bros trilogy. Yeah, maybe. But that's so up in the air. I don't really know. Maybe we will for now. Let's go ahead and do that. Give me a sec. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga 3DS box art. Let's go here. I'm sure I could find some box art here. Well, I think I can. Here we go. It's gonna save it as a WebP file. Whatever. I think that Canva supports WebP files. Watch the next game to come out reflects the exact timeline shown here. Mind blown. Yeah, honestly, maybe I should show this to Goodfeel and get their minds percolating. After all, like, they're the ones who cemented this whole thing with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book to begin with, so, you know, who knows? I drew a picture completely unrelated to any of this, but I think it looks nice. Is that what you shared in the Discord? I'll get to that in a minute. So let's go ahead and put Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minion. And you know what? At this point, now I have renewed interest in playing the Bowser Jr. sections. Maybe I should try those out. Just to see, like, how he interacts with the Koopalings in that game. Because now I'm genuinely curious. This is, like, prompting me to want to play the other games in the series. So how about this? Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story 3DS. Box art. That's why they're taking so long on 3D Mario. They're working out the lore like they did for DK and Yoshi. Wouldn't that be nice? And isn't it kind of awesome? Isn't it kind of awesome that Goodfeel here focused in... Oh no, my playlist is over. Isn't it kind of awesome that Goodfeel kind of focused in here and actually like zeroed in on some lore in the Yoshi games? Isn't that kind of neat? Hang on. I think it's really cool, honestly. Like, this opens the door to a lot of possibilities. It really does. They actually made Junior looking identical to Baby Bowser. A plot point. I know, like, that's awesome. Like, Bowser Jr.'s like, and the young master has arrived, but somehow he looks a little bit different than I remember. Yeah, I remember that. So there you go. Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, and Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. I've got to play those modes now, because now I really need to know how those games line up here in the timeline. So yeah, what do you guys think? The complete timeline of the Yoshi series. Man, that took way longer than I expected it to. Like, we're literally at the 3-hour mark. And, you know, I was gonna summarize my thoughts on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book here. But I think I'm out of steam, honestly. Absolute Yoshi. Absolute Yoshi. I like it. Alright, guys. Well, there you go. The complete Yoshi series timeline. Like I said, I did want to talk about my overall thoughts on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. I think that might just have to wait. I don't want it to wait, though. I think it's got to. I'm definitely out of steam. That was a ton of fun. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, JP. I'm curious. Holy moly. This is hardly reds. I'm curious, JP. Where did you have Topsy, or did you expect Topsy-Turvy to land? Took some wild turns. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm content. I'm gonna save this. And now I'm going to download it. Because I want to keep this. Yeah, I want to keep this. At the very least for reference. But I think, honestly, I do want to make a video at some point about the Yoshi timeline. Yeah, that's crazy. Quite the timeline we got. I expected Topsy-Turvy to maybe be before Mario World, or at least before Mysterious Book. What do you think of the idea that it shows up at the very end of the Yoshi timeline? Or basically at the end. Oh, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this too. And yeah, I'm absolutely more interested now to play these games. I mean, I played this game. I didn't play the 3DS remake of Bowser's Inside Story because I just didn't see the point. But now, knowing that Bowser Jr. shows up in that game and this game, you know, what sort of effects does that have on the timeline here? Pins? All right. Well, I'm tired. I think it's time to be done. So guys, I appreciate you coming along for the ride of the complete Yoshi series timeline discussion. Some wild turns, some unexpected twists, some games that you probably didn't even expect to be here. But I think that was a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in. Reminder, guys, I am going on vacation for a few weeks, or I'm going on vacation for a couple weeks next week, and I'm not going to be streaming next week because I need to have my energy so I can drive. I will not be streaming again for Jeepers. It's going to be about a 4 week. It's going to be about 4 weeks until my next stream. I'm taking a 3-week break. I will still be active in the Discord though. So there you go. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I do go live or post a video. Feel free to join the Discord. That's where you can get a hold of me. I love chatting with the fans there, and that's where I'll be chatting with you guys from now until I return in about 4 weeks. And yeah, the next live stream, weirdly enough, strangely enough, I'm planning for it to be on Friday, September 11th. And it's a little unfortunate that it lands on September 11th, but, well, what can you do? It is a Friday. I was probably going to stream then anyway. So yeah, September 11th. What a day for me to return to streaming. But that's when the next live stream will be. So I don't think I'm going to do another Just Chatting stream. Maybe I will. I do still kind of want to give my final thoughts on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and maybe I should just focus on the overall review. I think, honestly, that's probably my best bet. So right now, what I'm planning, guys, is starting my playthrough of Mina the Hollower, starting in September. Can you speedrun all these games in the time it takes to make this video? Probably not. Probably not. That was an amazing first stream I watched firsthand, and thanks for the fun time, and I can't wait for the next time. Woolly World fan, it was a pleasure having you, and I do hope to see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, dude. I intend to become a regular after this. This was a blast. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Time to make like Super Mario Sunshine and have a relaxing vacation, Jeff. Thanks, Blues Cat. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will have lots of fun. I'm not going to let you guys know where I'm going until I get back. But I'm excited to share the adventures that we'll have there. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. And hopefully, I'll see you in the Discord. We'll see you next time. See you guys.